Yes, y'all. You know what it is. It's them kids and wives and 925s, but we are still married to the games. Episode 276. The last episode of 2017. It's your boy Gabe Patillo with Tim Router.
Yeah.
Ed Placencia. And Chris McCracken, of course. And as always, we are talking games and life and games. Thank you guys so much for being here. I cannot believe that people listening to this on Friday are listening to the last podcast of the year. Those listening on Monday are listening in the new year already.
Yes.
It's crazy.
That is true.
Isn't that crazy?
The future.
It's
The
crazy.
future is awesome.
Oh, so happy 2018 for the procrastinators out there.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
There you go.
And your New Year's resolution is to get on it and start listening on time.
Exactly right.
Get on it.
Patreon/MTTG.
Chris McCracken, what you got going on, man? How was your Christmas?
Christmas was good. So as I had said before last week, I think the prior weekend we had gone up to Oklahoma to do Christmas up there with Stacy's family.
Yep.
And then we came home for like a brief stint in the middle, and then we headed back up there on Wednesday night because the kids were going to be out of school. So on Thursday, we took the kiddos and we went with some of our friends and their kiddos, and we just took a trip up to Oklahoma City, which is about an hour and a half or so away from where Stacy's parents live. And we spent the day in Oklahoma City. We had lunch at a place, and then we went. They had this. They have this like AAA ballpark down there, a AAA baseball team, and they had set it up to where they had these big like snow mountains where you could slide down. Of course, it was artificial, but they had set it up to where you could go up in the bleachers, and then you could get on a tube, and then you would slide down this big long slide, and then you'd go around, wait in line, and do it again. And so we did that for a couple of hours. That was actually pretty fun. And then after that, we went over to another part of the city where they had an outdoor ice skating rink, and we did that. And one thing that I did, it was warm earlier in the day. Like I had just a hoodie on, and I had checked the weather before, and I was like, okay, well, it's going to be warm. And then they said, oh, well, we're going to go watch some lights and maybe do a few things outside. So at least the few times that I've done lights, I haven't gone to see Christmas lights in a while. But when we do them here in the Metroplex, we always drive to like a neighborhood that's got a bunch of stuff, and we just drive through the neighborhood. And so I was like, all right, well, I'll just take this hoodie because it's going to be warm during the day, and then in the night it's going to be, we're going to be in a car. Well, then they started talking about going to see lights and like, oh yeah, we may walk around these different areas. Like, oh no, I'm going to get cold. But before even that, before the sun had actually gone down, we were over at this ice skating rink, and it was freezing. I was like, so I cannot believe that I did not bring a heavier jacket, because I'm usually, out of most people, I'm the wuss anyways that gets cold quick. So it's like, I can't believe I dropped the ball and didn't bring this, but it was still a lot of fun to be there and everything. But none of the adults went on the ice, and I'm like the only one out of them that can skate, really. I mean, the rest of them can do it, but they're all, like the herky jerky whatnot. And I can just, I don't know what it is, but I can just go. I mean, I guess it's from my years of skateboarding and just other things that use or require balance. I'm usually pretty okay at doing. So Stacy was kind of disappointed that I didn't actually go out there, because they wanted me to see me, fly around and do all the, crazy stuff that I can do.
Can you do a triple Lutz?
I cannot do that. I can go backwards though.
Ooh,
hey,
nice. Look
but,
at you.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
So it was just the kiddos for, I'd say, about an hour or so. And then whenever, at some point, they had to shut it off so the Zamboni could go out. And I was like, all right, and let's go ahead and go. Let's go ahead and go. And then we did actually find a place to go look at some lights where we did drive through them instead. It was like this park that was set up and had all these different displays all throughout the park. And you would drive around through the park and, make a donation at the end if you were so desired. So
cool.
I was happy about that. Yeah. And then we came home after that. And the next day we spent over at our friends' over there. They had like cookie making and a bunch of other different holiday related kind of stuff. And then we came home early on Saturday, and on Monday we went over to my mom's house in the morning. They were picking up my grandmother from the home where she stays most of the time, and had her there. They were going to have her there early. Originally we were going to go to my mom's in the evening. But it was like, oh, we want to go there early while my grandmother's there, so we could see her. Spent some time over there, and that was great. And then I went over and hit up my dad, and he for the past like 10 years or so, he's one of those people that goes and has Chinese food for lunch on Christmas Day. Like that's his thing.
Really?
And I'd never been with him before because usually the way that it happens to fall is I have to go to see him on Thanksgiving or Christmas Eve or a day or two after. It doesn't usually work out that I could see him on Christmas Day, at least not around lunchtime. So we went over there and it was an experience. There was a lot more people there than I was expecting. I thought it was just going to be a couple
lot of people up in there.
Yeah, there was and it wasn't a big place, so it was packed. And he even said he made note. He's like, it's been busy before, but never quite this busy. Like we had to go all the way in the back little corner. It was the only table available. I was like, wow. But food was good, and it was definitely like I can mark that off the bucket list. Be like, all right, Chinese food on Christmas Day. Got that
is
in
so
the bag.
great.
Right there.
I need to do that.
That's cool.
I forget that that's a thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
yeah.
I totally forget about it too until he mentions it every year. And then, like when we get there, the first thing you walk through the door, and on the right, there's all these ducks hanging up there. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Christmas story.
There they are.
Revisited all
We
over
didn't have
again.
any duck, but I was like, oh, are we gonna? They're gonna chop the head? No. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe next time.
Yeah.
Then Sunday night, actually, I guess that's backing up a little bit. So Sunday night, Christmas Eve, Katie and Kale came over. We invited them over for dinner, played a couple of games. We got this new card game for Katie and Kale for Christmas.
Do they feel different now that they're married?
I think
I
it should be.
don't think
Doesn't
so.
feel different now that they're married.
Doesn't feel different to me. No,
Well,
it
not
feels,
to you.
It feels the same
Okay.
to me.
I didn't know if Katie was glowing all the time. You're like, what is that glow? Oh, it must be emanating off that ring.
Yeah, I mean, I did have to wear sunglasses, but other than
Oh,
that,
okay,
I mean,
okay.
yeah.
Her smile's bright enough.
One ring
Gracious.
to rule them all.
We got them this new card game. Shoot, I forget the name of it now. It's by the. Have y'all seen that comic? I think it's called Cyanide and Happiness.
No.
You ever
No.
heard of that? If you look it up, it's one of
Sounds
those
like a New
comics
Year's
that
Eve
puts
party,
on.
though.
It's one of those comics that you'll see, like people will post on Twitter and stuff all the time, and you just happen to see it, and you're like, oh, I didn't know that was an actual series. Kind of like the Oatmeal. Like I used to always see stuff from Oatmeal until I finally realized, oh, that's Oatmeal, and that was an actual thing. But it's kind of like Cards Against Humanity, except it's with comics. So it's very
nice.
inappropriate. You can't.
Sweet.
You have to be very specific who you play it with. But basically, there's these. You have these 3 cards, and you have to make a comic out of it. And the person who it goes around the table, and whoever chose the card put the first card down. The other people have to put the ending card, like the punchline card, if you will. And then he gets to choose like which one he thinks is the funniest, and whoever submitted that card, they get a point. And it just keeps going
that's
around
pretty
that
cool.
way. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds good.
But the comics are very over the top and very not safe for
Inappropriate.
work or
Yep.
any of that kind of stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
So just inevitably, it was a lot of fun.
If you're with the right
Outside
people.
of that, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're like, so I was with my pastor and his wife, and I decided to.
exactly. The Pope came by, and we decided to throw this down, and it all worked
Exactly.
out great.
Everybody, we did a vote. Nobody wanted to play Secret Hitler.
They frowned a lot, but overall, I think they liked it.
Exactly.
There was
My
a
house
lot
is
of
doused in holy water.
patri. Yeah,
Exactly.
Apparently, I'm no longer welcome in the church.
I didn't
Won't
know
be
that was
going
a thing
there
you get
again.
kicked out of. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
In nomine Patri, Spiritus Sancti, Amen. All right, continue.
Yeah, sure, whatever that means. And
That was
so,
very impressive.
outside of that, gaming wise, played probably the most has been Overwatch. Since we had time off,
Nice.
Stacey and I can play, and plus the holiday event is going. I haven't really I keep getting all these legendary drops, but they're just normal stuff that I didn't necessarily want. I got one skin that was like, oh, hey, cool, that's nice, but it's still not a holiday skin. So I'm like, I get all these emotes and everything else, but I haven't got the only holiday skin I've gotten is that one Ana one in the very, very beginning, which is a cool skin, except I don't ever use that character really. So, because I'm not very good at sniping.
Are you like, oh, I feel like Gabe?
No, but now that you mention it, I kind of do.
Yeah.
Except the thing is that I'm getting a lot of legendaries. They're just not the holiday ones. On a normal, if there wasn't an event going, I'd probably be like, yes,
That's what happened to me the last event. The last time I played like heavy because of an event, I kept getting legendaries that had been out since launch. I was like, what the heck is going on?
Well,
Right.
you should probably, if you haven't already, you should at least log in because over Christmas they gave everybody 5 free loot boxes. So you might as well see if there's something in one of those if you haven't.
Okay.
I mean,
I got
while
on
the event's
before
going on
Christmas and I
anyways.
had one loot box, but I'll try to get back on there.
Yeah, I think it was Christmas Eve it's Christmas Eve, and there's a little message that says, blah, 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 we love you. And it's like, yeah. Oh, 5 loot boxes. Okay, cool. All right. 'Cause, I just wanted to play the game,
The sentimental Chris McCracken. Yeah. That's great. Just give me the loot boxes.
I did record a little bit more of Call of Duty multiplayer, but I haven't been able to campaign, and I haven't been able to edit it yet. I did play, they've been having a winter event going on as well, and they have this special playlist where the game modes keep changing out, but it's like double XP during that little winter game mode that they have going. And they cycled into a gun game, and I used to play gun game a lot back in the day, so I played a few rounds of that, and I wasn't recording it or anything like that. It was just one of those things where at the end I had like 5 or 6 games in a row that were really good. And I just, at the end of each one, I would just hit the share button and save the video. Well, I pulled those off my PS4 and I just threw them up on the YouTube just for grins.
Nice.
I mean, there's not really any commentary or anything. It's just me playing the game. And then the weird thing is, I thought gun game was just part of the playlist now, but it's not anywhere else in the playlist. Like I can't just go play gun game anywhere else when it went away from the little holiday thing. So I don't know if it's going to come back later or something. I never really realized that it wasn't there to begin with. So that's a bit of a bummer, but I'm
what is gun game, Chris?
So
compared to the
basically
regular Call of Duty?
it's like free for all. So they have a mode free for all, which is what you think it is. It's where it's you versus everybody else in the match. And it's just whoever gets the most kills or gets to 30 first, which is the limit, then they're the winner of the free for all match. Well, it's the same thing except for each time you kill a person, it gives you a new gun. Like your gun goes away and it gives you a different one. So you may start out with an assault rifle, and then it's going to give you a shotgun, and then it's going to give you a flamethrower, and then it's going to give you a sniper rifle, and it just cycles through. And the thing that's cool is in the past on other Call of Duties, if I remember right, it was always the same progression. Like it was the easier guns, then it gets a little tougher, and then you get to the harder guns towards the end. And usually the last weapon, if you will, is a melee, like a throwing knife or some kind of projectile melee weapon. But this one, the same thing. The very last one was always the throwing knives and the little melee hatchet or whatever. But the progression of the guns between then, it would change every single round. Like it was
or
never.
a shovel,
and I don't know if it was different
too, as well.
Yeah, it could be a shovel or this like pickaxe, and you could, if you melee somebody with either that or just in general throughout the match, it sets the person you kill with the melee back a gun. So their progression goes backwards.
Oh, wow. Gotcha. That's cool.
So at the very end, the way you have to win is you have to get it with the throwing knife, or in the past there have been knives that shoot like the blade out. Whatever it is, that's how you have to win. You can't just melee somebody and then win. You have to get it with that projectile melee weapon. And so, but yeah, so I don't know if everybody was on the same guns each round, but each time you would play a new round, the progression of what gun you would get second or third or whatever was always different.
Yep.
And I thought that was really, really cool. I liked that a lot. So I'm kind of hoping that they throw that back in the playlist because I want to play it again. I really enjoy that game. I like playing free-for-all and kind of those types of games anyways.
I didn't like that they got rid of it. I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, it's a double XP thing, which is fun. But then to get rid of it altogether, I was like, oh, that's kind of a bummer.
So gun game was originally introduced in Call of Duty Black Ops.
Okay.
And then it got so popular that it's been in pretty much every Call of Duty after the fact, but most of them don't launch with it. It's usually one of those ones that they cycle in a little bit later. But it was kind of the same way. So it didn't surprise me it wasn't there at the beginning, but it's like, okay, it's there now. So obviously it's working. Why is it not just part of the playlist now or part of the, ones that you can choose to play now? So I don't know. I'm assuming it's going to come later, but maybe they want to wait till this event's over. That way they can keep cycling it through however they want. I don't really know. But it was a lot of fun. I want to play it some more, so I'm hoping that they bring it back. But I think that's it. I keep getting so many. Kale in particular keeps telling me over and over. Every time I jump on a game with him, he's like, "Hey, have you played the Hearthstone whatever thing?" The
dungeon.
Yeah, and I haven't been able to do it yet. I haven't had any because the only time I ever really think about it is when I'm somewhere where I can't do anything else and I'm on my phone. I'm like, oh yeah, I have Hearthstone. When I'm home, and I got access to consoles and everything, Hearthstone's the last thing furthest from my mind. So I definitely want to give that a try because so many people keep talking about it and he keeps asking me every time I see him. So hopefully the next week I'll be able to say, yeah, I tried out that Hearthstone dungeon, whatever, and hopefully I'll love it as much as everybody else does.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but that's it.
Ed?
Yes.
How about you, buddy?
Man, it's been another nice week. Had a really nice Christmas. Christmas Eve, we always get together at the Placencias when we're in town.
Oh, at your house?
At our house, I know, right? We have the big Placencia gathering, and it was actually not as big this year as it usually is. A lot of people were out of town, and so it was a nice get together.
You're like, the year I moved back, everybody feels like going someplace.
But you know what? I was talking with other people in attendance, and all the nice people showed up this year. So it was actually, I was fine.
I like it.
I love it.
So yeah, it was the perfect size, and the perfect people showed up. So it was really good. Had their little white elephant gift exchange. Sarah and I, the night before, went to one of her friends' Christmas parties, and had a little gift exchange there, and it was just nice to kind of do the little Christmas party scene for a bit. On Christmas, Sarah and I didn't do anything as far as family or get-togethers. We just kind of hung out, laid low here at the house, and then yesterday, Tuesday, we got together with the Talons, and I say that like they haven't been over to the house every day this past
I know,
week.
I was going to say.
They still were there from
now?
from the last podcast. They just had stayed over.
Exactly. And I feel bad because I have so many Overwatch and chat party invites and stuff that go unanswered just because.
I was gonna say you only play games with the Tapmans anymore. It's like, oh, there's Ed. I better.
I know,
I'm not
right?
gonna invite him. He's just gonna ignore me.
I know, and it kills me. And I'm like, man, I wish Overwatch was like you could play online split screen. Because otherwise, it's like you guys all sit down. I'm gonna play this game.
Yeah.
But
watch me free
there's
some
a way.
people.
Just get another PS4.
I know, right?
Add another TV.
You got a second
Exactly.
controller. Get the second PS4 to go with it.
Exactly. But it's been fun. It's got to be. They're here probably. It's like we're in Pennsylvania and they visited again because they're probably here from noon to 3 a.m. every night.
Wow.
Every time.
Playing
That's
games
awesome.
Gosh.
nonstop. It's just been so much fun. If we have it, we've been playing it.
That is so great.
So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I finally did get to wrap up. I think I've done all of the side missions on Assassin's Creed Origins.
Yes. Wow.
So I think I've got it all. At least the side missions. I think I found them all.
Good deal.
And so yeah, that was just such a fun game to go through. And I love when a game is still as much fun after the main story is completed.
Amen to that.
So it was so cool. We picked up Job Simulator for the VR and had a lot of fun with that. And it's just like every other VR game you play.
Is it you trying to invent the iPhone?
I know, right? Exactly.
Or a different kind of jobs?
Oh, that's Jobs Simulator. That's what
Oh,
that's what you're thinking.
I
Nice.
got you.
Yeah,
Sorry.
That's different. I
That's
guess.
definitely different.
Right.
Turtleneck attire is required. Yes.
That's right.
Exactly. Black shirt, check.
Black shirt.
Right.
Glasses, check.
It's just like any other VR game where people are watching who aren't in the VR hat, and it's like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. But then as soon as you put it on yourself, it's like, oh wow, this looks awesome. So
Really?
it's been, it's just been fun to just play around with the VR and give everyone a chance and try it out, and so much fun. My brother Ray was over last night, and he and Nathan and I played Trials Evolution multiplayer and kind of just had a good evening. The girls were out, so we just hung home and just laughed nonstop.
Oh, got
for a
it.
few
Good
hours.
for
It
you
was
guys.
That's
so
the
much
best,
fun.
man. That's so great.
And then I've been playing a lot of. I picked it up in November over my birthday, but I'm really starting to jump into the Evil Within 2.
Ooh.
Oh, what the world?
Good deal.
That is.
I'm really enjoying it because there's a lot of wandering around the town, kind of like scavenging for parts and what have you. I like that part. When it gets into you're in a room, the hide and seek elements of it, I'm a little just not a fan of the hide and seek elements. But I really enjoy walking
Because
around
it's
town.
scary?
And not that it's scary. I just
Do you feel
sometimes-
helpless?
I feel like the monster is like it at least appears way OP at first.
Oh, yeah.
And
Oh, okay.
because I panic shoot, I'm down to like 2 bullets.
Amen.
So-
We're in the same
Panic
boat.
shoot. I love that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, because I've always heard that, especially on that game, that ammo and whatnot is super scarce.
Oh, super scarce. Yeah. So it's been fun, but it's been a challenge as well. But yeah, that's yeah, it's been nice. We got a nice little snow for Christmas, which was nice to see. And
that's cool.
Besides that, yeah, it was a good week. So that's another good week of gaming for Eduardo.
There you go.
Well done, sir.
Yeah.
What about you there, old Tim Router?
Oh, well, let's see. Piper's topic of the week. It was Santa last week, so I can't do it again this week. But it is New York, because tomorrow morning we are getting in the car and we're driving up to see Dabney, Peter, and the triplets.
Great.
For about 4 or 5 days over New Year's, and then we're going to come
Nice.
back, and she's super excited. So yeah, it'll be great. They've moved. They were in Brooklyn, right near the Brooklyn Bridge, in like a little 2-bedroom. So I was like, oh, great. I can't wait to sleep on the floor again. It'll be awesome. But now they've actually moved. They moved up to Westchester to Rye, New York, and they're renting a house there. So there'll actually be a room for us. So it'll be nice to kind of spread out a little bit. And
Oh, cool.
we haven't seen them in, I think it's been about a year. So it'll be nice to see everybody. And we always have so much fun with the kids. We are going to Radio City Music Hall to see the Rockettes.
Sick.
Which will be really fun. And so we're just going to go up there and hang, and we are bringing up our favorite Mexican restaurant. Pueblo Real has probably some of the best queso you'll have. And so they always request it every year. So yesterday I went over there and got like 3 of those huge 36-ounce cups, styrofoam tubs of it.
Wow.
Froze it overnight, and then we'll bring it up with us so that they can have it, because apparently there's not a whole lot of great Mexican restaurants in New York
Imagine that.
that have good queso. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. But
And
yeah,
people need to
I'm
know
looking
too,
forward to it.
listening, Tim, just to give her a shout out, man. Dabney, some people might have her phone cases on their phone.
Yeah. She does a lot of licensing. She does a lot of different designs and patterns. It's Dabney Lee is her brand. And Target picked her up, and
Oh, nice.
and yeah, so she's been doing really great. Lauren and their friendship started because she originally was doing stationery, and then decided and kind of shifted gears and did more like gift and home good stuff. And so she was a vendor of ours for a while. And the first time we met her, she came down for a trunk show over Pumpkin Fest here in Franklin. So she stayed with us, and I'm like, who is this woman and why is she staying with us? And it's been an amazing friendship ever since. So yeah, we were there
Yeah,
when
she's a sweet lady.
we were there when the triplets were born, and so they've always Poppy is our goddaughter, so we always try and go and see them. So I'm really excited to go up there, and it'll be a good time. I'm getting those girls up early to go. I want to just get up there, so we'll probably leave at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning tomorrow just to start going, because we got about a 14.5-hour drive. But it'll be nice. It's a pretty easy drive. Man, Christmas was great. We just hung out here, and Piper opened up all of her gifts from Santa, and it was just a lot of fun. I just love seeing her smile and the excitement on her face. And we just, we hung out. We did end up hosting dinner. Her parents, Lauren's parents, came over, and some friends of ours came over, and that was pretty much it. It was very low key, not a whole lot of people. Christmas Eve, we went over to my in-laws and ate there. So there was a lot of eating going on.
Yeah.
So I'm like trying to detox from all the food that's been going around. But,
Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's
been-
fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in the same boat as everybody else, so it's fine. And yeah, so it's been really great. And yesterday we did absolutely nothing. We stayed in our PJs.
Nice.
Piper played with her toys. We watched movies and just hung out, and it was exactly what we needed. Lauren has to work today, but Piper and I will run around, get some errands done, get some packing ready to go, and then be on our way tomorrow. So that'll be a lot of fun. And apparently it's going to be snowing up in New York too. So that's always fun. A little white New Year's up in New York is always good. And I will be avoiding Times Square like the plague, of course. and it's going to be cold. It's going to be just in the 20s like the whole time.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that'll be fun.
Lordy.
But it's been
Don't
been
take
cold
just
here in
a
Nashville
hoodie.
too. So yeah, I am not taking just a hoodie. That is faux show. So on the gaming front, I am back. Assassin's Creed is rocking and rolling. I did take Sean Capri's advice and I restarted, and I'm so glad I did. So I
Really?
had a Christmas night. I had a marathon run. I had a good 3.5 hours of just playing this game. And I love it. I'm right there with you, Ed. I'm doing side missions left and right, and just anything and everything I can to level up, get better gear. And it is the combat I'm not struggling with anymore. Just a lot of it was I just forgot how it's just so different how they did it this time, which is great. But at the same time, when I'm coming from 2 months of Shadow of War, where you're doing a lot of the combos and all that stuff, I'm not used to using the R1 and R2 buttons, but now I'm in a groove, and it's fantastic. It is a beautiful game. It is a huge game, and man, I feel like it's Assassin's Creed Witcher 3 style. It's the Witcher 3 edition, and it's very RPG this time, and I really enjoy that. And it's just going to be a lot of fun. So that's probably where I'll be for the next month, probably 2 months, and probably up till Far Cry 5, to be honest. I don't know. I wake up and I'm like, man, I just want to play this game. Just want to keep going. What can I explore today? And it's just so much fun. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Nice and easy, low key, very casual, and just having a good time with family.
That's awesome.
Loki. That is great.
Yes,
I love
It
it.
is.
Fantastic, Mr. Patillo.
Yeah.
I got your little Prezi, by the way. Thank you so much. I
Oh
appreciate it.
yes. Oh yeah. No problem. It was one of those things where you are hard to buy for some strange reason.
Why
I don't
am I
know
hard
why.
to buy for?
I don't know why you're hard to buy for. I know you want gift cards, so that's
Yes.
where I went. But I hate
Yes.
buying people gift cards, but I
No.
love getting them.
Isn't that weird? It's the same thing. for me.
Lauren is the same way, and I'm like, just get a gift card because then they can get whatever they want, and it makes life easier.
And I agree with that. I just don't like gift. I like, for some reason, and Jenny hates this about me, but let's say Jenny gives me a list of 10 things she wants for Christmas. Automatically, that cancels out all 10 of those things.
Ah, okay.
Because I want to buy something she didn't ask for, but something she might have mentioned in July. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
That's good.
bring
yeah.
it back up hey, you said you wanted Uggs 6 months ago when as you were talking about winter one time. Here's some
Right.
Uggs. You know what I'm saying? I know you asked
Yeah,
for all these other
right.
things. And so it kills me to get gift cards. But for some reason, I don't know why you're the hardest to buy for. And I didn't want to buy you an Assassin's Creed thing because number one, I knew somebody would.
Mhm.
And then I think you got something like that last year. And then I was I got Ed and Chris shirts. And so I was going to get you a
nice.
shirt, but then I didn't see any shirts that I thought you would wear in public for the games that I wanted to buy you.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
I
so-
think Lauren would kill me.
Yeah, exactly. So I was between a rock and a hard place and freaking punked out and got you a gift card. So
No, man, it's perfect. Trust me. That's the gift that keeps on
All
giving,
right.
Clark. So keep going.
Yeah,
It's great. Yeah.
well, I want to say thanks, obviously, to Chris and Ed for their Christmas gifts. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks to you guys too.
Yeah, man.
I got my shirts.
Thanks to you as well, dude.
Yep.
Oh, did you get Uggs too?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I bought Chris I wanted to really get you that big Death Stranding poster of the one with the people hanging, but I couldn't find a place where they did it where it was the real thing. You know what I'm saying? I found a lot of people that had downloaded the image and was selling the poster, quote unquote.
It's all stretched and
Right,
pixely.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't about to do that.
Nope.
You know what? I'm a quality guy. You just don't know how it's going to show up. So anyway, thanks Ed, Chris, Tim. Tim, I got your gift a
man,
long
thank
time
you.
ago. Ed and Chris has showed up a little later. Then Chris hooked your boy up for my birthday, so that was thank you for that. Hooked the boy up with some games, so
That's
I
right,
appreciate
man.
you.
Happy birthday.
Mhm. And
Happy birthday.
so so this week, same thing, man. Just you kind of slow it on down for Christmas. Not a lot of work has been going on. I did a little bit of tour business, as we're about to head out at the end of January on Hits Deep. We're trying to like just dial a couple things in before the Christmas New Year's break, because I don't know if it's like this for just businesses everywhere, but the Christian music industry shuts down like the week before Christmas all the way through after New Year's. Like there's nothing that happens in between here. And so Toby's gone in Jamaica. He goes to Jamaica every Christmas to spend time with his in-laws. So he's gone. So it was like this mad dash to try to like get stuff done and get answers from him before he left. So that's what we've been doing, man. Christmas was good. Obviously, we had a great Christmas for the kids and spent the morning with Jenny's mom and sister. And then at night went to my mom's house with my brother. And so that was a good time to hang out. And
is everybody done being sick?
Everybody's done being sick. Everybody was good going into Christmas.
Yay.
So that was great.
Perfect.
We didn't want anybody sick for Christmas. So that was the big deal. So everybody was healthy. And we've just been, chilling, doing Christmas and trying to impart in Amara, especially, like, not just to run through all the gifts and just open them. We were like, let's, enjoy it when you open it, then go on to the next one. It kind of prolongs the excitement.
Yeah, that's what we do with Piper. Like, she takes it a gift at a time, and it's like
it doesn't work though.
Well, it's a 2-hour. No, it just takes long. It's like a 2-hour extravaganza, and you're like, all right, can we just open all the rest of these and be done with it? Merry Christmas. Goodbye.
You're definitely done teaching the lesson halfway through the presents. You're like, okay, let's just, you need help with
all
this
right,
one?
let's just move this along. Daddy will open this for you. Let's go.
So yeah, it was fun, the excitement and everything. And obviously Remy is like getting there where he's excited, but he's just not like super excited about that kind of stuff. And then obviously Milo doesn't know anything of what's going on. He's just like, can I get some food?
He is just a happy boy though, man. He's just running around all smiles.
Yes,
he's so cute.
Happy boy. Oh my gosh.
Yes, he is.
Love that kid. So nothing else much is going on. Just doing Christmas, taking it slow. It's been great.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Been great.
Nice.
Taking it slow.
Got gift cards. That was the big ask.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm
That's
like,
perfect.
keep the gift cards coming. And Toby Toby usually never gets me anything for Christmas because we're separate. Because he's always in Jamaica and I'm always here.
Right.
But this year he had somebody come drop off one of those JBL Extreme like Bluetooth speakers.
Oh yeah?
Sweet.
Oh, cool.
Which was super nice because I always wanted. You guys don't know this, but I'm constantly like love having music going in the house, and so like if I'm working, I want music going. If I'm showering, I want music going. Just all that kind of thing. So it's really nice to have this like really nice Bluetooth speaker. And so when he dropped it off, I was like, I'm gonna go get an Echo Dot because they're like extremely inexpensive.
Yeah, man.
Right now.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they've coming down in price.
Yeah, and I love the whole Alexa thing. And so and I want to have it for my studio. And so, so I'm your boy's gonna have to get some automated lights going on because that'll be a funner way to do things.
Oh, sure.
And so, I'm excited about that. That was fun to get and so unexpected. And I think those are the best gifts when you haven't asked for them, but it was something you might want. Me and Jenny always talk about Christmas being the time for getting things you want, not what you need.
Right.
Exactly. Because sometimes it can turn it, Jenny especially, her lists can turn into that. Like, well, I really need a new sweater and some new jeans. You know what I'm saying? So she'll get sweater and jeans from like her mom and sister.
You can do that anytime.
Yeah, and it's like, that's not that fun. Like, let's get the stuff that you're like, oh, an Apple Watch. Like, I don't need that, but that's great to have.
A pony.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No ponies.
It's perfect.
Oh, goodness gracious.
No ponies. We got enough room in the backyard. We're good.
Right. So, and then yesterday I built a banister for the top of our stairs leading into our bonus room.
Look at you.
Because the way our steps were, they kind of just like ended. Like, so there's when you're going up the steps, there's the handrail. And then as you hit the last two steps, there's kind of nothing there. And so we had no place to put a baby gate for Milo.
Oh, yeah.
And that joker loves making a break for the steps. I don't know
Nice.
why,
Mhm.
but now that he can now he's figured out how to go up, he wants to go back down, but he has no idea how gravity
Oh,
works
right.
or steps.
Yep.
And
Yep,
so
Mhm.
there's been like probably 3 or 4 times that we've had like a scare of like, oh shoot, he's at the top of the steps. He's like right about to put his hand out and topple down the steps.
That's amazing.
And we get to him just in time. So I kind of built a banister, and me, Jenny, and Pinterest built a banister,
Sure.
and
Of
so
course.
finished
Mm-hmm.
that up last night. So we have a place to put a baby gate now and stuff like that. So the hardest thing about working on your house is making sure you're not actually screwing something up for when you
Right.
sell the
That's
house.
why I don't do it, because I will screw it up. Unless it's something small.
Right. My mentality is though, if I screw it up, hopefully I can fix it. And so
Yes, exactly.
we got these. Jenny had a great idea, and we got these cool like copper pipes. It's actually what they would use for grounding electrical wire. They're like metal. It's like metal thick conduit that's about like
Yeah.
nine
know what you're talking about.
sixteenths in diameter. And so we use those as the railing that's going in between the wall and the post, and it kind of like looks really cool. And so
Oh, that's
was
cool.
like-
Good idea.
good on you, Jenny. Yeah, she
Look
kind
at
of
you,
has the
Pinterest.
vision, and I hopefully can bring it to life. So it was fun to do that. And that's it for me, for sure.
Well
Nice.
done, sir.
Yeah.
Well done, sir.
Nice.
Good deal.
Router, you got it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's do it. Can I just say I'm so happy to not have to be triggering the songs live this week. Last week I had to trigger the songs live, and it is so much
I know, that was
nicer
awesome.
to not have to do that and just
Right?
do
Just
that
that
in
awkward
post.
Really?
pause, awkward pause.
Oh yeah, it was so
awkward,
stressful last
awkward,
week
awkward
to like
pause.
try to time it just right. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
It was
That was awesome.
yeah.
It was great, man. It went off without a hitch, and I know
Oh, I
you were
appreciate
sweating
it.
bullets, but
I
everything
was.
looked fantastic.
I was trying
sounded
not
good,
to
and
look like I was sweating bullets since it was on video.
A little behind
was
the
a lot of
scenes,
fun.
Gabe was the only one who was actually hearing it last week.
Yeah,
we
that's
were just
right.
like, yeah, what's up?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
we were
think the
totally
music's done now. Okay.
faking it. Yep,
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
It was-
That was fun.
that was perfect. This week, super quick. New releases this week: SteamWorld Heist Ultimate Edition for the Nintendo Switch. Back to you.
Nice.
Wow.
Well done.
That's it. We had no oops. And of course, MPD for December. Man, since we were talking those numbers last week about November, I'm very curious to see how December is. I have a feeling November will still be
Top dog.
the higher month. It typically is, I think, because that's you've got Black Friday and everything, and then in December everybody's getting ready for either traveling or what have you. So I don't know. I'm curious though how December will fare. Compared to 2016,
Yep.
but also compared to November.
You know what's interesting is I read an article, and I don't know how much this is true, but it's the internet, and if there's
It
something
must
to be
be.
written about, they'll write about it. Yeah. And it's funny because growing up, it's always like, well, if you read it, it's probably true. Nowadays, it's like,
Yeah.
Right.
Now you got to fact check everything you read. But I saw this article that
Yeah.
said that pricing is actually better closer to Christmas, like butted up against Christmas. But Black Friday has become such an event that we think that that's when you get the best deals.
right.
But usually the best deals
Right,
are
but
right at
interesting.
Christmas. I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah,
So
I believe
we'll
that.
have to see.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Chris McCracken.
Well, fellas, did y'all know what WHO is? The World Health Organization. Y'all heard of
Oh,
that before?
doggone it.
Yeah.
Yes, I know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
did I steal your story?
No,
I can
you
move to a
didn't.
different one if you want to get it.
Nope.
Okay, good.
Nope. I didn't even have
All right,
this
well,
as a
they
story 'cause I
have-
was like, oh, shoot.
Gotcha. They have I don't know why, but they put out like a draft, if you will, of when they're going to do their update of the new year. And like, okay, here's our new update. So any new diseases or whatever they're going to add onto that
Ooh.
list, they go ahead and add it on. So I guess they put out a draft to let people know what's coming. I'm not really sure. But their 11th update of the International Classification of Diseases, also known as 11, is coming out, and they are adding onto it gaming disorder.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And so I'm going to give you a brief description of what it says. It says gaming disorder is characterized as a pattern of persistent or recurring gaming behavior, which may be online or offline. Number one, it exhibits impaired control over gaming. That's the onset, frequency, intensity, duration, context. Number two, it's increasing to give priority to gaming to the extent that gaming takes precedence over other interests in life and daily activities. Continuation or escalation of gaming despite the occurrence of negative consequences. The behavior pattern of this, the behavior pattern of sufficient severity to the result of significant impairment on personal, family, social, educational, occupational, and other areas of functioning. So basically, they're saying it's a mental health disorder, and it's something that's actually going to be able to be diagnosed by doctors and
Unbelievable.
mental health physicians. And I would assume just in some way they can prescribe medication for it down the road or something.
Didn't you feel like, though, Chris, when you read this? Because when I saw this, too, I was like, isn't that anything?
That's just called addiction.
Yeah.
Like,
it's gambling.
I mean,
I was going to say that just feels like addiction.
Yeah,
like,
that's just
why
addiction.
I mean, this can happen literally with anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I have no idea. And not only that, like...
And they were saying 12 hours or more a day, like, or something,
Yeah, so some of this, like, obviously, if you're continuing to do it despite negative consequences, like it impairing your ability to work and your ability to do this, yeah, obviously, that's problematic. But it's like...
Right.
Just playing for like 6 hours or something online, it's like, if you got an off day and it's vacation, just do your thing. I mean, how many times my mom's gonna be like, oh, you got the gaming disorder, I'm gonna have to take you into the... No.
Right. No, it doesn't work that way. And I already have it, so what are we worried about here?
Yeah, I mean, literally...
We all
like,
have it, I think, so what's the big deal?
if you take gaming out of this, you can put anything disorders,
It's
like
anything.
coffee disorder, water drinking
right.
disorder. I mean, it's...
Yeah, it could be healthy sounding. It could be like reading. Like, oh, they just like to read so much that they just get lost in a book all day to the detriment of their family and children.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Exactly.
So that's
Right.
could that be a disorder as well? I just thought it was
Carrot
so like
eating disorder.
super
Yeah,
thin
of
of a
course.
thing. Like, why even?
Yeah, exactly. It's addiction. That's what it is. Bottom line is it's addiction.
Yeah, it's not.
You
it's
don't
not
have to
the
classify
game's
it.
fault.
It's just addiction. I mean, because literally, I mean, anything in this world can be, if you do too much of it, you've got to have some, self-control, obviously. And you may need somebody to be like, yo, you're giving a little too much to this, that, or whatever. Sure. But to classify it as a mental disorder that you need to, okay, we got to put this in a category and we got to, doctors got to prescribe, blah, blah, blah. It's like, really? Come on.
And I felt like too, like it almost belittled mental health disorders as a whole. Like, let's not be so trivial as to like say this is a gaming mental, like before the gaming part, like anybody who gets, this is my personal opinion, I feel like anybody who has a mental health disorder that gets addicted to gaming had a mental health disorder before the gaming.
Exactly.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, let's
gaming
get to the,
was just a
let's get to the
it was a
root of it. It's
medium
not
for it.
Flappy Bird's problem that Flappy Birds was extremely addictive. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
There's steps before that can be taken before it gets to like going out and purchasing a PS4, going out and purchasing Call of Duty, sitting down and playing Call of Duty.
Obviously there are people that have, addictions to certain things, and that's really all that afflicts them. Like maybe some people are only addicted to alcohol or to gambling or whatever. But there's people out there who they just get addicted to almost anything. Like anything that you can get addicted to, they do.
Yes.
So
I have a lot of friends like that.
This just falls
and
underneath
that's a greater disorder than anything specifically gaming.
Yeah.
Like that's
Right.
Gaming is just one branch of it. What I don't like about this is that now it can continue to pigeonhole gaming as an excuse for
That's
things.
exactly
Like, gaming is,
what I was going to say.
yeah, right. It's one of those things where, we do have this gaming disorder now because video games are out more and more people are playing them and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, I mean, that can apply to absolutely anything and everything. If you have an issue, if you have an addictive personality, if you have a mental health disorder, it doesn't matter what it is. It's still a mental health disorder. You can categorize it however you want, but it's not specific to one thing. It is just the way that you've been wired, and it's a disorder in and of itself. So you can't just, I
just hated the titles that came out of it. Like, it looks like gaming can be blah, blah, blah now because the mental health, I was like, because the World Health Organization.
Yes.
I was like, oh man, come on.
All it's really
seriously?
doing
Like,
is it's giving ammunition to ignorant people to be like, oh, see,
Exactly.
there's the World Health Organization says there's a gaming disorder. It's like, okay, you really don't understand what's going on. So when people or corporations or businesses or whatever organizations like this have these types of categories or whatever, it just takes the people who know very, very little and just gives them more ammunition to like jump on it and make something seem more negative than it actually is.
Exactly.
right.
So
It's
a bummer,
Totally agree. It was a
but-
bummer for somebody who loves gaming. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
doggone it. Like, why are you picking on us? Like, what happened? What happened over
Right.
there? Like, there was like a parent
Right.
that was like, my
Oh, yeah.
child will not get off the computer. And then,
Yeah,
you know,
it's probably some sort of initiative they have that they, are putting together to whatever.
It's called relevance. Oh, we don't have enough things for
Exactly.
2018. Gaming
Exactly.
disorder. Oh, we're seeing an
Gaming, there it
increased
is.
spike in entertainment. Oh my gosh.
yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying that there aren't people out there that put gaming before their families.
Yes.
So I'm-
Right.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I just felt like it was like the big fish picking on the thing that's making a bunch of money.
Yeah, I just feel if there really was a gaming disorder, a lot more people would have it.
Or we would have heard about it a long time ago.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
definitely
kind
have
of-
the.
We'd all have it at this point.
I definitely have one more-itis. Just one more round.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. One more itis.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Put that in there.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of similar, and this is, in my opinion, to how a lot of people are like, oh, we want to classify loot boxes as gambling, and we want to make it illegal and all this. It's like, well, just because some people out there probably do get addicted to loot boxes like they do other things, and like, oh, I gotta spend a few more dollars. Well, that they just have a problem with control and again, addiction. It's not necessarily that everybody needs to be like, oh, this is a big negative thing. I mean, loot boxes are just are what they are, I mean, it's the same thing with
Right.
gaming a lot. It's like, it doesn't necessarily just because someone, it's their favorite hobby and what they do the most out of anything else. It's not that they need to be classified as a mental disorder.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that one. So Jeff Kaplan, the director of Overwatch, had a lot of time to kill the other day.
Apparently,
great.
good
Uh-huh.
night.
And sat in front of a fire for 10 hours, was it?
As far as I can
What?
tell, it's like a legit 10 hours. Like, there's no trickery where, yeah.
So to
10
set
hours.
the scene, he wasn't there at first, but there's a fireplace going
Yeah.
and a chair and a plate of cookies and milk. And then Jeff Kaplan walks on screen, sits down in the chair, and proceeds to just stare at the camera. Stare at it on Twitch.
Wow.
And then, like, every now and then he'd, like, eat a cookie and then go back to just sitting there for a couple hours. And then, like,
Mhm.
unwrap a present. I think he unwrapped a frame that said, I don't even remember what it said. Maybe, like, heroes never die or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It was some saying from Overwatch.
Did he have to stoke the fire?
That's
No,
the other
I don't
thing.
think
I thought, yeah, it must not have been like a real fire because it doesn't look like it ever went down.
I was probably a gas fire.
It's gas
Yeah.
fire. And then like the boom mic fell on him, which I thought was
Yep.
really interesting that there was a boom mic at all, because like
Yeah, that's hilarious.
for what? And
Yeah,
and like almost 40,000 people tuned in to watch this at some point. I think hoping that he was gonna,
Announce
launch
something.
something or announce something.
Mhm.
And so I'm not sure exactly what it was for. Maybe it's just a joke, or he lost a bet, or they were just testing. Like, I wonder if we did something like this, what it would do, and it raises the status of Overwatch because people are talking about it, and he's the director of Overwatch and stuff like that. But it was just very interesting. Did any of you guys watch any of it?
I mean, yeah, for all those people who like to put on those 10-hour
Yule log,
fireplace
yeah.
YouTube videos for Christmas, it's kind of a cool way to do it for if you're a gamer and just have Jeff there hanging out with you.
So I saw tweets about it, and I was like, I didn't realize what I thought it was. They were images. So I just thought maybe Overwatch had tweeted something out, and like, I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. It wasn't until after the fact that I went and looked into it. Like, oh, he's sitting in front of fire. I was like, okay, we've seen that before. But as far as I'm aware, the people who have done it in the past have done it a max of like maybe 45 minutes, an hour, something like
Yeah.
that. This was 10 hours. And I didn't watch the whole thing, obviously. I scrubbed it through to see, and I've seen little clips of some of the funny stuff, like, the boom mic falling down and hitting him and whatnot. I was like, as far as I can tell, he was actually there for 10 hours. He never moved. It's not like trickery where they're actually looping video or anything like that. He's there.
Mm-hmm.
It is the weirdest thing. The whole video clocks in
So funny.
at 9 hours,
Just under 10
54
hours.
minutes.
Yeah.
And so he
just gets up and walks away at the end. There's no like cue, like he smiles and nods his head or anything. No, he just gets up, walks away. Same way he came in.
That's weird.
It is the strangest thing. And so I thought it's a great marketing move. I feel like, man, 10 hours is a long time to do something.
Yeah, I can't. There's no way I could do that without eating something.
And it was on what?
Besides a
it was on
cookie.
Christmas Eve that he did it.
I think so.
So at the time that
Yes.
it went on, I think about 40,000 people watched it. Now on Twitch, it's been viewed like 380,000 times. Not obviously nobody. I can't imagine anybody sat and watched all 10 hours, but just the people that put their eyes on it, just to kind of see what's going on. But it was the weirdest thing. The fact that it wasn't a loop, the fact that it was like a nice camera setup. I was just like, I wonder where this begins.
So
And
he lost a bet somewhere.
So funny.
Yeah, so it's called
Had to have
Overwatch Yule Log featuring Jeff Kaplan. And he just sits there, folds his hands, unfolds his legs, switches his legs. But I don't think he ever says anything the whole time.
Yeah,
Just-
I don't
so
think
Just
so.
funny.
sits, drinks some coffee, plays Hearthstone. Anyway, I thought that was the strangest, but like,
Does he?
people think he was playing Hearthstone. They're like, okay, we think he's playing Hearthstone because that would make sense.
Yeah.
But good on you, Jeff Kaplan, for trolling us into believing something was going to happen.
Yeah. there you go.
40,000 people. Can you just imagine that?
Mm.
Even if
I'm
it's
like,
only
People
like
will
for a
watch
brief,
anything.
20-second span, that 40,000 is like more than 100. I mean, what are they doing? What are they, like,
I don't, you
why?
ain't got nothing else to do on Christmas Eve.
I mean, I guess I do agree that because we've done that before in the past, definitely at work, like when we've had Christmas parties, you go find the video file where it's like just a fire burning for like 6 hours and you put it on so it can be on the TV while everybody's doing stuff. Can you imagine if our Christmas event was going on? I just had this running. You're like, is that Jeff Yeah, it is.
I thought it was really funny, really creative.
So funny.
Yes.
I know, right?
What else you got, Chris?
It is soothing if you just listen to it, just the crackling fire. I like that.
Yeah.
So I had mentioned earlier about loot boxes. Well, it seems that Apple is going to kind of follow China's way that they do things right now. Is they're going to they're adding in guidelines so that any game or any app or anything at all that has anything resembling a loot box in their system, you have to put in the description of the app what the odds are of you actually redeeming anything out of those loot boxes.
Yeah. I remember that.
So it says apps offering loot boxes and other mechanics that provide random virtual items for purchase must disclose the odds of receiving each type of item to customers prior to purchase. So as I had mentioned before, China's done this for ages, and I think that's originally how we found out what the drop rates were in
earlier
Overwatch
this year.
loot boxes
That's right.
because of China. So now it seems like it's coming over the United States. This is a way, to me, this is I don't know. It's not legal in any way like that, but this is another step you could take. We have the ESRB that gives, people ratings and things, says, okay, you need to be aware of this in your games. This is another way of, I feel like, that you can kind of self-regulate this kind of stuff without it having to become like with Congress and stuff getting involved. Do we need to make laws as it pertains to loot boxes and microtransactions and all this kind of crazy stuff? It's just let the systems out there and the places that, like, whether it be Steam or it be the App Store or whatever, Google Play Market, let them just mandate that, hey, if you have loot boxes, you have to tell people what the odds are of you getting things. That way, at least there's a bed right there, so for sure, okay, this is what my odds are, and then you can make your decision going forward whether you want to continue on trying to get whatever your skin or card, if it's a card game or whatever else it is that you're looking for. So, and I don't know if it's actually been implemented yet, but it's definitely going to be coming to the App Store. And the only thing that I can think of, the biggest one I can think of is Hearthstone, because that's technically, I mean, card packs are basically like loot boxes. So I'm sure that they'll have to start doing it on theirs as well. I don't know. I don't play a lot of iOS games, so I don't know if there's any other big name games that have a loot box-esque system. Can you guys think of one that might be effective?
I know South Park has the packs that you open as well.
Oh, yeah. So like if PSN and Xbox Live, their stores, and then, the Nintendo eShop later on, or even now, if they were to have guidelines similar to this, I feel like that just kind of is another way to the industry can just self-regulate itself. I think that's a better way of doing it, just to make sure that everybody's available and knows what the odds are.
Yeah, it's such an interesting thing. Like the whole loot box gambling discussion. I haven't dove super deep into it, but at the same time, I feel like I guess I can see the point of them saying it's gambling because you don't know what you're gonna get, right? But it seems interesting to still. It's baffling me that it's lumped into another bad thing against gaming, like we were talking about earlier. It's like, okay, so here's this thing that they're offering to try to make extra money, obviously, and and then people are obviously buying way more than some people. I know people have spent hundreds of dollars in games to buy extras and to buy loot boxes and stuff like that. It just is so. I hate that it's kind of turned into this cloud over gaming. So anytime a game has microtransactions now, it's reported so differently than it was last year. Last year it was always like a heads up, this has got microtransactions, or you'll see it when you download an app, just so you know this has got in-app purchases and things like that. But now it's almost turned into just this negative thing that doesn't seem to be negative to me. Like everybody knew.
It shouldn't be.
It's not.
Everybody knows what it is going in. You know what I'm saying? You know what it is going in.
Yeah.
It's not like they're trying to pull one over on you. You know what I'm saying? Where they're like, hey, you can play the game up to this point and then you got to buy some more. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? It's not a cloak and dagger type thing.
Yeah, no one's really been doing that, and I think that was such the fear all along as well. Does that give you that advantage and that extra push? Maybe not, but so what? Just if you're either going to do it or you're not, and if you're not going to do it, then you just do it the old-fashioned way, earn your XP, get whatever you want. That happened for Shadow of War. I didn't touch any of the microtransactions in Shadow of War. It was totally fine. I had no issues with it, and I just went ahead and did what most gamers would do, and or level up the way you're supposed to, and be done with it. Like I'm not going to pay for anything. I'd rather just. I'm enjoying the game too much. I'd rather just slosh it out and get the things that I want. By not having to purchase them.
See,
I hate that it's become such a buzzword.
Yeah.
It is.
Because I think a lot of parents are being. I talked to a woman this week who her son wanted Battlefront 2, and she's like, "But you know what? I didn't want to get it because of those microtransactions they've got all over the place. It's just full of microtransactions." And I said, "Well, they did those tweaks and stuff to try to balance it out." She's like, "Yeah, but a lot of these games coming out now, they've got those microtransactions, and that's no good." And I'm like, "You don't know what one is, do you?"
Right.
Well, the other thing it could be though is that just the idea of them purchasing something on their card, kind of like how if your child runs and gets an app on iTunes with whether intentionally or unintentionally, that could just be one of those parent fears of, hey, this, if I give him this game, he's just going to go ahead and start buying stuff and not realizing that
But
we're
that's
getting
been happening
charged
for
it.
so long.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean every game's got like skins you can buy or hats or
I do like that iTunes now has to you put in your password every time you download an app. I think that was probably smart, and I think it's probably to help curtail all the any purchases
of
that were.
Of course, there should be a block to where
stuff.
if you're a 5-year-old, you can't just start racking up stuff.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously that needs to be in place, but like Ed's saying, to have microtransactions all of a sudden be this thing that parents see and then don't want to get the game. You're like, this is in all games that you, especially on iOS. You know what I'm saying? So many people were disappointed. Obviously, you could download Mario for free, but if you want to play the rest of the game, you got to pay $10. Like it's just such a weird thing that all of a sudden it's so bad, but it reinforces that whole. We talked about it, I think a month back or maybe 2 months back, talking about just the bandwagon mentality of Twitter and the internet right now, where you could just hop on this thing that you're mad about that's actually existed for a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's not necessarily bandwagon. It's kind of a mob mentality too. It's like once somebody's on a platform, they're all like, yeah, what they said. Yeah, let's focus on that. Never mind the 12-year-old that's playing GTA 5 for crying out loud. Let's focus on that versus microtransactions.
and
my lord.
And I feel like it. I don't know. It's just baffling to me that this can.
Yep.
And I'm like, did EA ruin this for everybody? Like, did Star Wars by itself bring this to the forefront?
No,
because it seems like we weren't talking about it before.
They're getting crucified for it because they're getting crucified for it because it's EA. That's the only reason why. Because
no, they're not getting crucified for it simply because they're EA, but they're getting crucified for it. The
because
thing
they did
is
it
that
poorly. Obviously.
The problem is that
they
just
did
like
do it
anything
poorly.
else, it's a thing that started to happen in a couple of games, and then it's exploded once it says, hey, this is actually working for game X. Then every other game tries to implement that thing. And it's not just with loot boxes, it's with everything. It's with gameplay mechanics. You want to see how many games next year we're going to have a battle royale system? You just hold on to your pants, because it's going to happen because it's been successful for a few, so everybody's going to try it to some extent. That's the same thing with loot boxes. Now, I have a bit of a different opinion in some respects to the way you guys see things. Like, for instance, when you were mentioning about, like, I hate how people can get on Twitter and, like, beat a drum and then that makes change. Like, I kind of like that. I like that the community, whatever community is, just to say gaming community, because that's what we're talking about, that they can get on social media or whatever and they can say, hey, we don't like XYZ, and that can create a change if there indeed is something negative. I like that. I don't like, obviously, there's people that take advantage of it in both directions, and it can be, and there always is a vocal minority typically. But I do like that there's people out there that'll be like, this thing's wrong, and then, a gaming company might say, okay, well, they don't seem to like that, so let's pivot. Not a hard 180, but let's pivot a little bit and let's tweak it and let's fine tune it and get it to where it works for them, it works for us, and it's a good little spot.
Sure,
the problem is that people are beating the drum about loot boxes. And then they just kept beating the drum and beating it. It's like, look, there's very, very few instances where loot boxes are actually egregious. EA with Battlefront 2 is one of the ones where it really was pretty egregious, the way that they were doing things in the initial onset.
But not even at launch.
Almost no other game is doing it to an extent where it needs to be like, oh, this is bad. And it's gotten, like y'all said before, such a buzzword. Like, there was a YouTube channel that I followed pretty closely and would watch a lot of this guy's videos, and he got so on the bandwagon about beating about loot boxes. I feel like his last 30 videos have been about loot boxes. I was like, all right, dude, look, I don't comment on YouTube videos because I feel like nobody really pays attention to them anyways because there's so much garbage in there. But I just wrote on there.
We do. If you comment on ours, we do.
Yes. But I'm just saying, I got on there, I said, dude, you've got to let this go. You've got to move on. Okay, you made your point. You need to move on. And I just ended up unsubscribing because, like, the guy will not let it go. It's like, come on.
Good.
When you have 30 videos about
though?
Loot boxes are bad, it's like, get over it, dude. They're not all that big a deal. They're
not.
not.
What was his point? Because I'd love to hear, like, the argument, like a well thought out argument. Did he have a good point in any?
There's no well thought out argument.
Well, yeah, I mean, so basically his point was just that it's the same as, a lot of other people have done, or a lot of the articles you might read is like, he's equating loot boxes to gambling. At the heart of it, if you dig through all of the mess, his point and a lot of other people's point is they just don't want to pay for more stuff for their games. Period. They want their games to be what they cost forever, and they don't want it to increase at all. They want nothing. So my problem is that most people, I think, don't really have a problem so much with loot boxes. It's that they don't want to have to pay more for stuff that they want. So they're complaining like, oh, this is gambling. This is bad. It shouldn't happen. Really, they just don't want to pay for loot boxes.
Well, let me ask you this, Chris, though.
Yeah.
It's not new. This is not a new thing. Like, that's why I say the thing about EA is like the loot box system is not new to this year.
Hearthstone has been doing it for years.
It's not new, but it's new in the sense that now every single game has something like this almost. And there's more games that require, like, there are games that are coming out where you can't get around it. You have to do this wise. And I'm not talking about free-to-play games because Hearthstone's different. To me, Hearthstone and games like that get a total pass because the game is free. If you want these things, you pay for those things. I'm sorry. Yep. And even Overwatch, like Overwatch is lauded all over the place. They're like, look, Overwatch is one of the games that does it right. They do loot boxes right. And for the most part, I agree. I still think even Overwatch's loot boxes aren't completely that great because I'm like, I wish that I could just go in, like, let there be loot boxes, but let there also be a way if I want to spend microtransactions, let me just buy just the thing I want. I don't like that if I do spend real money, it's still a random chance. It's like, if I'm going to spend money, let me go buy that legendary skin that I want with the money that I spent. Let me have that. It's like, if they added that to me, I would be like, yes, Overwatch is a perfect microtransaction system of everything. They can do it the exact way that they want, and it's great. And even if it was a choice, like I want to buy 500 gold or I want to buy 12 loot boxes. It's like to give it a random. Like, let me spend the money the way that I want. But they get more money by spending it by doing it as loot boxes because then it's random. And if you don't get what you want out of those 12 that you buy or whatever, you're likely going to do it again if you have the extra income and you still really want that, honest skin or whatever. But if you don't have any kind of self-control.
At the end of the day, this is still a business, gentlemen. And the main thing is like, they want to make money. They need to make money to keep everybody around. And I totally get that. And it's the issue here is just a matter of choice and preference. Chris, if you want that legendary skin at Overwatch, if there was an option for you to buy it, I know you would buy that in a heartbeat, but it's not going to prevent you from playing the game because you enjoy the game. And if you get a loot box, it's like, oh, the anticipation might be there. You may or may not get it. And that's all part of the whole experience of gaming. Yeah.
The only time that the loot boxes in general or microtransactions in any way, in my opinion, are negative are when there is no way around it, or if there is indeed an in-game way to earn that thing, but it's made so difficult to have happen that you've got to spend 80 hours to earn one thing. It's like, no, there needs to be a balance. And I'm fine with people beating a drum and getting on Twitter and be like, this is unbalanced. It shouldn't be take so long to play without spending money. I'm fine with all that. But just the fact that people are like, if it's got a loot box, it's bad. That's crazy. Yep. That's outrageous to me.
I'm with you.
All right, and we will
come back to loot boxes.
Yeah, let's move our soapboxes to the left as we step down.
And
I'm totally with you, man. I can't stand it, and I know there's a million things in the world like this. I just happen to pay attention to gaming, and I know that there's stuff that gets blown out of proportion
because it affects you, man. It's a part of what you do. Exactly.
But it's the weird thing is that it doesn't. It's like the noise around what I love to do. And so it's like, I never buy loot boxes ever. But it's just like, I just can't stand it, man. We had people in the clan like that on Clash Royale that were like, this is such a money grab. You can't get anywhere unless you pay money. I'm like, I was like number 2 and number 3 in the clan and never spent any money at this.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe just get better. Yep. I don't know.
You know why? Because you know what it is? Some people are just impatient and they want to move on to the next thing and they want to just do their thing. And that's fine. That's human nature. But at the same time, it's like, if you're not enjoying it as you're doing it, if you're not enjoying the journey, not just the destination, then what's the point? Why even bothering? Then you should just buy. Then you should just buy it and be done with it. But don't complain about it because other people want to go ahead and grind it out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's your prerogative. That's the problem with this is that it's so subjective because it's based on, maybe you do have more disposable income than somebody else does, and you do want to pay for that. That's your right. You can do that. Nobody needs to blow a bullhorn for it or anything like that, or get crazy with it. It's so like gaming is so subjective regardless. So it's just one of those things. And the problem with EA is that, they went a little bit overboard and they just got, they got,
and they corrected course.
And they corrected course, but they got whipped for it. So now that's what everybody's talking about.
Yeah, which everybody, whenever, again, I understand the concept of, microtransaction loot boxes is not new, but to gaming, and especially this last year is when it got pushed the most by most people trying to do it. It's like everybody, there's always going to be that person or that company or that game that pushes it one step too far because they're trying to see what will people accept and what will they not. So somebody goes too far and then you got to reel it back. So now I would assume going forward, EA and anybody else is going to be like, well, we don't want to do it the way they did for that. So we're not going to do this because they don't want the backlash. That's just the natural progression of the way things go. And I think that what I don't like about it, the main thing that I don't like about it is I don't like how if, all these people are like, oh, I don't like loot boxes, or whatever the thing is of the flavor of the month. It's like then people who don't have a problem with that or don't mind it, or maybe even they like it, now they're being demonized. because they do that
Right.
thing. And like a couple of years ago, it was the same way with season passes. Like, you buy season passes, I don't do that because that's not good, and you're just teaching them to keep making season passes. And then for a while now, people have done the same thing with, I don't pre-order games because these games are launching is broken, or the pre-order bonuses aren't as good as what you think they are. And so if you pre-order games, you're a bad gamer and all this. It's like, if they're offering me a thing and I want that thing and I want the game to preload because I buy it digitally, I'm going to pre-order the game. And like, what? It's not hurting you.
exactly.
Get over it. But you don't want to do it. Awesome. Don't do it. I'm going to go do this thing because it's worth it to me.
Yes.
Yep,
yes.
and that
I
is
just
your
hate the
prerogative.
demonization
That is your style of how you play your games, and everybody just needs to back off. That's all. Just go play games, people, for crying out loud.
Back off.
Mind your business. That's all. Just mind your business.
Exactly. Just mind your business.
Exactly.
What was that from? Oh my God.
But it's just it just makes me mad because developers need to stay in business. It is a business. If this is another avenue that they can earn additional business, then so be it. And if people are paying for that, then what's the problem? That is capitalism. Yeah. That is capitalism at its finest. Everybody does it. We do it with other things besides gaming.
Yeah.
And that's just the way it goes.
Exactly.
So, like, I don't want to see the gaming industry deteriorate because of something like that. And I don't think it will, because it's not, everything's being corrected. But I just want quality games, and I want developers to not be worried about any backlash of anything that's not necessarily there. That would be because this is a value added piece. It does not affect the overall scope of the game. It is a value added piece. If you want this skin, if you want this, you can pay for this, and that's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect the entire your gaming style, and it doesn't affect the actual game for you. So I don't know. It's just stupid.
And if it's a game I'm really enjoying, like take Overwatch for example, they've only come out. I've only had to buy the game once,
right?
And they're still working. The guys there are still coming up with new content and new,
exactly.
And so I don't mind saying, hey, here's a couple more bucks.
Exactly.
I want to support them and let them know. I'm sure they appreciate a nice tweet, but it's also nice to give them a couple bucks and support them that way as well.
Not to mention,
keep doing what they're doing.
Everything that game is given after the fact has been free. There's not new maps, new characters.
There you go.
Microtransactions and the people who decide they want to buy some loot boxes or whatever. That's helping to fund the ability for everybody that plays the game to get, this new character in 3 months or whatever.
Right.
Yep.
And some people, like, that's the only game they play. Like, there's people out there that all they play is Hearthstone. So every time a new expansion comes out, they're buying, the 50 card packs or whatever. And maybe when you look at it total, maybe they've spent $700 total on Hearthstone, a free-to-play game. But you know what? If that's their only game, so what?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yep, right.
Yeah, I've definitely spent more than $700 on gaming in a year.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
so
that was fun.
We weren't quite ready to fold up our soapbox.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know how this soapbox got back up under me, but wait, get out of here.
Next thing you know, I'm standing on this soapbox again.
Somebody who used to stand on a lot of soapboxes was Jerry Seinfeld during his show Seinfeld.
What's the deal?
Yeah, exactly. And it looks like there's going to be a point and click adventure game that's coming out. And yeah, nice.
Well done, sir.
That's right.
I did not know this. Do you know that was slightly different every episode? The intro music?
Yeah.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, I thought it was the same song every time.
Yeah.
And it's not. It was different, slightly different every episode.
Very interesting.
That's crazy. So it's the 90s style pixel point and click kind of thing. There's not a lot of information out about it, but it looks awesome, and it's going to be interesting to see a show about nothing hopefully turn into a game about something. Because you want it to, I want to play it, and I don't want to be bored while I play it, but it looks awesome. I don't know how to say the guy's last name. Jacob Janerka?
Jacobson.
Janerka. Anyway, at Paradigm Game on Twitter, he's shown a couple clips and all the characters and stuff like that. Newman's there, Elaine, Kramer, obviously George and Jerry. So it'll be really, really fun. I just hope it turns into something great because Seinfeld was such a. I didn't watch Seinfeld that much, but I appreciated its place in pop culture.
So good. Yep.
The fact that it was just so big, and as they began to tell the story of the show in the later seasons, I just think it was such a great idea. And so, anyway, love Seinfeld and what he's done for pop culture, and so I hope the game.
Oh yeah,
it's not going to be equally as good, but I hope it's good, to say the least.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a great way, and I hope that like Jerry's on board and able to help out in some kind of way. But we'll see. Go look it up though. It's just cool looking. Have you guys checked it out at all?
I heard about it, but I've
definitely.
not looked into it yet.
Yeah, I heard about it too.
I mean, it brings back all the feels from like the old point and click, like Monkey Island and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
he's calling it a hobby project. So I don't know how fast a hobby project moves.
So I'm assuming he's like got blessing and everything to do this officially and all that. Yeah.
I mean, you would hope.
Like, is he he's not going to get sued by, whoever owns the rights to Seinfeld?
I don't know.
Or is he just releasing it like, hey, I'm working on this thing. Hopefully I don't get in trouble.
Right. I don't know at what point you have to do that. Like, I don't think just beginning to work on something you have to do anything like that. But as you come closer to release, you better believe.
Yeah.
You gotta.
Right.
And somebody was telling us on. I think it was Chowfie was telling us on Discord. We were talking about what's that movie that's coming out?
Ready Player
One, and the licensing. And we were saying how it's Seinfeld. I mean, how it's Spielberg, so it should be easier. And he was saying that his wife kind of works in licensing, and how much more difficult it is when it's a big name like Steven Spielberg. And so you just never know when something like this comes up, how easy or difficult it could shut it down at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Where we don't ever get to see it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
you never know.
We'll see. What else you got, Christopher?
The last story that I have is that Rise of the Tomb Raiders game director Brian Horton had announced on Twitter.
Sat in front of a fire?
He did not sit in front of a fire,
Yeah, right.
but he did announce on Twitter that he's going to be joining Insomniac Games as of January 1st. And he's going to be the design director for Insomniac's upcoming game, Marvel's Spider-Man.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And he's...
They don't have one of those yet?
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, I can't, it's one of those weird things where it's like, okay,
Exactly.
shouldn't you already have this role like locked up?
Right.
But I mean,
We've seen gameplay.
maybe not. Yeah, I don't know. So we're gonna have to see. But
Wow.
I mean, he's got a lot of he's got a pretty good resume. I mean, he's worked at Electronic Arts and DreamWorks and The Collective and Vivendi, and he's also worked at Crystal Dynamics. Obviously, he worked on the Tomb Raider game. He did work as creative director on the campaign of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare when he was at Infinity Ward. So he's got some, and that campaign is one of the ones that Infinity War, which obviously, back when it released the trailer, it was the most downvoted trailer ever. But everybody that I know that played that campaign said, wow, this is like one of the best Call of Duty campaigns that they ever had.
Really?
So yeah, granted, I never actually played it, so I can't corroborate that. But everybody that I know that played it was like, man, everybody always says Call of Duty needs to do something different, and they did something different, and it's really, really good. And so I was always like, oh, I should go play that. And then it's just one of those things like, oh yeah, I don't really play Call of Duty campaigns except for World War II. So I never really went back to it and did it, but it gives me, makes me kind of intrigued to see
That's
what he's
cool.
going to do with Spider-Man and what's going to happen there. Now, granted, he's the design director, so he's maybe not necessarily have as much hand in the story elements or any of that kind of stuff. And as we've kind of discussed,
Right.
it seems like that stuff's pretty well locked up right now, or at least we're led to believe that based on what we have seen so far. But it's interesting nonetheless to see what's going to happen. And maybe one of those things where he was actually working with them for a while, he just couldn't officially announce it. I'm not really sure. Or maybe he actually is like his day one, walking in the office, swiping his card, like, oh, January 1st, I work here now. Who knows?
Right.
We'll have to see.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. Can't wait to play that game though.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Goodness gracious. Last thing I've got is man, poor Nintendo.
What?
It's one of those things that's good and one of those things that's bad. Their online service crashed on Christmas.
Whoops.
And so, everybody knows, or maybe not everybody knows because some parents didn't set it up beforehand, but everybody knows the woes of getting a brand new console on Christmas because of the updates
and not being able to set it up. Mm-hmm.
and not being able to play for forever. It was weird. I saw a picture that somebody put on Twitter, and they were like, the woes of updating when you first get your PS4, and it said like a 345 megabyte download, 10 hours remaining. I was like,
Yeah.
okay,
What?
either the servers are slammed and you're not getting any kind of internet, or your internet sucks.
Yeah.
Right.
It is a
It's one or
bump.
the other.
Right. And I think it's only, correct me if I'm wrong, I think if you put in your PlayStation and it's not online and you pop in something like Call of Duty or whatever, I think you can still play it if you're offline. If the PlayStation's never talked to the internet to know that it needs to update, I think that you can still play games. Is that wrong?
I don't know.
If the game is offline, then yes, I believe that you can. There are some games though, and I don't know if it's like, I don't know exactly how it works. Like if you've never connected your PS4 to the internet or whatever, or maybe you had it connected, but then you've had it disconnected for, let's say a month or whatever. There are some games that can't function without a day one patch for whatever reason. Those are very few and far between as far as I understand it. But I don't know what would happen in that situation. Like if you put in a version of, let's say, Call of Duty on the disc, let's say that's what you get, and you put it in there, and there's a day one patch, but you've never connected your PS4 to the internet. I don't know if it would play or not, because mine's always been connected to the internet.
That's what I'm wondering. Would it even know it needs a day one patch? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know, because my stuff's always been connected, so I'm not really sure.
Right. I always think about my wife's side of the family live out in the country. They don't have Wi-Fi. And so when they get a Wii or they have a PS2, I don't think they even have a PS3 over there. I've always wondered, like, can they still use it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if I got them a PS4 and said, hey, you should play, I don't even know what game offline. Let's say Assassin's Creed.
Mm-hmm.
Can I buy them Assassin's Creed and the PlayStation and it still play? Now, it's obviously going to have some bugs because it's not going to have that day one patch, but it seems like you should still be able to play it. It seems like cooking it up to the internet right when you get it is really what does you in, because then it's like, oh, we need all this stuff,
Yeah. And just like, so my little nephew got a PS4 for Christmas.
Yeah, he did.
And before we hooked it up to the internet, I think like you turned it on and it was going to play whatever. And then we hooked up the internet, and then I went to and saw, oh, there's an update for the system itself, not the game that we were putting in. But had we never connected to the internet, it wouldn't have known there was a system update, and it would have just continued to function the way that it was. So I think it's the exact same way with games. Again, I can't really say for sure, because mine have been connected to the internet since the day they came out of the box. So I don't really know.
Right, mine too.
For 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that it would work that way for any game that obviously doesn't require online functionality to play. Like Destiny's not going to work, obviously, but something like a Call of Duty or an Assassin's Creed that has a campaign in offline mode, if you will, I believe they would work. Just any online functionality. Like a lot of times when you put in an AC game, and I don't know if the new one Origins does this or not, but it'd be like, oh, let us connect to Uplay so that as you play, you can earn points towards stuff. Obviously, that functionality is not going to work, because it's going to be like, we can't see Uplay. And you say, okay, I don't want to deal with you. And they're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I think it should work just fine.
That's what I would imagine. But everybody was having the woes. And, obviously a lot of Nintendo Switches got bought for Christmas and the store crashed. And so it's back up now. I think it took a day, to get it back up. And so it's back up and you can get it now. But I just know the heartbreak that comes with like getting the new thing and then being like, oh, I'm going to go download Zelda. And then be like, oh, no, not today, you're not. Maybe tomorrow. So, I hate that for Nintendo. But hopefully it's a good thing in the sense of like enough people bought it that it crashed the e-store.
Right.
I'm choosing to look at the silver lining.
There you go.
There you go.
As you
Silver
should.
lining.
Play that back.
Exactly. Chris, you're out.
I'm out.
Ed Placencia, what you got for us, brother?
Over on the YouTube channel, like Chris mentioned, Call of Duty World War II, the gun game, parts 1 through 4. You can go check that out and see what that's all about.
You know what's funny too? I watched that video before playing any gun game, and I was like, number one, Chris is really good at this. Number two, how is he switching guns so fast? And number three, why does he have so many guns in his loadout? Like, I did not know what was going on
That's
at
awesome.
all while I was watching that. I was like, what in the heck is this? I was like, how is he knowing right when they're dead to switch guns? But then as
That's
I
You
learned,
gotta
as
be
I
good,
played it
man. You just gotta
myself,
be good.
exactly. Just know I was giving you huge props the first when I watched the first 5 installments of that. I was like, dang, that boy knows how to switch a gun right when somebody dies. Good for him.
That's awesome.
And then I played it. I was
That
like,
is awesome.
oh, it switches automatically right when you kill the person.
And then your respect went downhill.
Well,
That's it.
I didn't know what gun game was. I'd never played gun game before. And so I was like, dang, he has got a lot of guns. And why is he choosing to use the knives? You have all these other guns.
They have guns, Chris. Use a gun, not a
Yeah,
knife.
go back to the bazooka. Chris brought a knife to a gunfight.
And he's winning.
You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, and he's killing it. All right, sorry, Eduardo.
Oh man. Oh, you're fine. Looking at our top 10 YouTube videos, combining the average watch time and views for the week of December 19th through December 25th. Number 10, Watch Dogs 2 Part 6, bottom dollar complete.
Really?
Ooh,
Yeah.
taking a dip.
Taking a little dip.
Mm-hmm.
Number 9, Hue Part 9, Mountains.
Okay, there we go.
Number 8, Drawful 2 gameplay.
Ooh.
When was that?
Look at that.
When did you do that? Was that a new one?
No, that's an older one.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if people got Jackbox for Christmas or just the family's in town and they're all playing and they don't know how to play.
Yeah,
or
trying to figure it out.
Kind of cool to see that pop up again. Yeah. Number 7, Ori and the Blind Forest, Part 14. Number 6. Married to the Games, episode 275 of Very Merry Married to the Games Christmas. Check that one out. You
Yes,
can
it
see all
was.
4 of us looking at each other.
Like the
That's right.
Brady
as if
Bunch.
we're
Ed in
actually
his
there.
scarf.
You're- Brady, that was great. That was really good.
Number 5, Hue Part 4, Pink.
Mm.
Number 4, Watch Dogs 2, Part 48, Ghost Signals. Number 3, Watch Dogs 2, Part 19, Paint Job. Number 2, Hue Part 10, University. Number 1, Hue Part 11, The Ending.
There you have
There
it.
you go.
That thing's representing.
There you have it.
Cheaters.
Cheater.
I wonder how this ends. That's what everybody's thinking.
No, right. Exactly.
Well, every week we asked you guys a question. This week was no different, except for the fact that we couldn't answer it beforehand. So I'm going to ask these guys first, and then we'll go into some of the answers from this week. Chris McCracken, what did you get for Christmas, buddy? Anything you want to mention?
I got Kojima shirts and gift cards. Yeah.
Did you get another Kojima shirt?
Yeah, Ed got me a Kojima Projections shirt with the logo on it.
Ed, me and you are on the same brainwaves, brother.
I know, right?
Because I got him a Death Stranding shirt. You got him a Kojima shirt, which I almost got him a Kojima production shirt. I'm glad I didn't now. And then me and Ed gave each other almost the same gift as well. So
That
Ed,
is awesome.
Ed, what did you get for Christmas?
I got a really cool coffee. It's pretty cool because everything Chris gave me, I was like, I'd take a picture of it of me holding it up, but everything is already hung up and in place and used and what have you. So that was really cool. The Rocket League funness from Router, we used that to terrorize the cat immediately.
Oh, I was hoping you would do that. Yes, that's perfect. Perfect.
Gift cards, and then Gabe got me a really cool Junkrat. Overwatch Junkrat shirt, but it's kind of one of the icons you get in the game. It's a very simple, simplistic design
Is it
rather
like
than
a silhouette of him?
It's mostly like the silhouette of his hair.
Oh, that's awesome.
Very simplistic, which goes nicely with
It's just his hair and his
Gabe's-
smile, I think, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right. Yeah.
There you go. And Router, what did you get for Christmas?
I got some gift cards and some clothes and all that fun stuff. One really hilarious thing that my wife got me is we got some T-shirts that kind of go together. but it's for Christmas vacation. Like her T-shirt says, "Why is the carpet wet, Todd?" And mine says, "I don't know, Margot," and I lost it. It was the
great.
coolest freaking. It's one of the greatest
That's awesome.
presents, and we're gonna have to both wear that at some point for Christmas. So yeah, it's really cool. So yeah, I've got probably all my video games paid for this year already in gift cards, which is fantastic. And yeah, so it's perfect. It was great.
I love it. And like I mentioned earlier, I got gift cards, some video games, and why I was saying that me and Ed's gifts were so alike is that he got me a mug with May on it in almost the exact same style of the Junkrat shirt.
That's perfect.
Oh,
It's a very
nice.
simplistic thing. And so I was like, when I opened, I smiled so big because Ed hadn't gotten his shirt yet, but I knew it was going to his house. And I was like, oh, snap, this is going to be awesome.
By the way,
That's
in the
hilarious.
current event, I think of you every time we play the game because there's two special game types that you're playing right now, and they're both centered around May. So
Ooh,
Oh, nice.
the Yeti chase and then the snowball fight.
I love May.
Oh, cool.
It's gonna be May. So, love May. Very cool. I'm glad everybody got loved on. Starting over on Discord, a skewed one has a screen grab of, or him just taking a picture of the screen of playing Mario Odyssey. And he also said,
Nice.
scrubs are in the wash, so I can't include those in the picture here.
Nice.
Oh, good. He got him.
Nova Beyond said, my wife gave me a Jesus/superhero t-shirt for Christmas. One of the coolest shirts I've ever worn. So it's a picture. It looks like they're sitting on a beam, like in a construction site. And it's Batman,
Oh, it's a great
Spider-Man,
shirt.
Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Flash, and Superman. And Jesus is sitting in the middle. And he has a speech bubble. It goes, and that's how I save the world.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah, that was
Such
cool.
a great shirt.
Jenny actually saw this shirt, I want to say 6 months ago, and almost bought it for me. I think it was for Father's Day. And almost bought it for me, but she was like, I don't want you wearing that in public. And she knew I would. I just think
Absolutely.
it's such a great shirt.
That's funny.
And then Roman says, my Nintendo Switch was considered an early Christmas present for my wife this summer. Other than that, I got a gift card and a Nerf gun.
Oh, perfect.
Nice.
Love that. Freaking Nerf guns. Gosh, I used to live for Nerf guns.
Yep. And Super Soakers.
That's right, and Super Soakers.
Mm-hmm.
Over on the forum, Greg Legg said, gaming-wise, the Lego Dimension story packs, which gets me to 100% achievement ability for that game. In other words, a few more
Nice.
months of gameplay. A set of Audio-Technica noise-reducing earbuds I had my eye on for a while to replace my ancient falling-apart Sennheisers. And the usual stuff that I appreciate more and more as I get older, like socks and a belt.
Yep.
He said,
Amen
So
to
funny.
that.
He said, but the main theme this year seemed to be whiskey. My wife and I treated each other to a joint gift of Van Winkle Special Reserve 12-year bourbon when the opportunity to buy one came up. Then the in-laws got me a bottle of Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey because they wanted Irish coffee on Christmas Eve and knew our stock was running low. And the biggest surprise of all, my wonderful wife got me a bottle of the Macallan Special Edition number 3 single malt scotch. With 3 new bottles of varieties of whiskey, we should be set for a while. So Happy New Year! Happy New Year!
That'll keep you
2018 is
toasty.
gonna be amazing. Over on Twitter, Dan Allen at MTTG Player One. What?
Nice.
What?
Love
Yeah.
that.
Represent.
Love that.
For Christmas, I got, wait for it, a Visa bill. Wince, cough, cough. I know that's right. Seth Roy says, this sweater and money for Disneyland. The sweater is it's a Christmas style sweater with 2 stormtroopers on there acting like candy canes or guns.
Ah,
nice.
nice.
Oh,
It's
nice.
great. It's really funny looking. We also got Ian Corey Drake at iDrake76, a Doctor Who shirt.
Oh,
Ooh.
nice.
Love that. Never watched any Doctor Who, but I know people like it,
Me neither.
so that's good. At Dante's Belmont said, I got a book. That's right. 1 book. I feel you.
Ha!
Sometimes it got to
That's
go
great.
that way. Jeremy at JR45 got me Horizon, Neo, and
Yes.
Shadow of War, also got the Star Trek communicator and $200 towards a new AR-15. Gracious.
Oh.
Pow,
Ooh.
pow, 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 pow. Angela Mosley at Silver_Husky, an Xbox One S from my fiance.
Ooh.
Hey.
Oh, nice.
There you go. Love that. Congratulations, Angela. You got to love when you get a console. Woo.
Yeah.
That is the best. Feels like your whole world opens up. A whole new world.
I was just going to sing that.
So Merry Christmas, everybody. I'm glad everybody got
that's
the
right.
things they were wanting, especially the scrubs. Glad you got the scrubs.
That's right. Scrubs are in.
You know where to find us. Facebook.com/Married to the Games. Twitter.com/MTTGcast. Of course, you come check us out at marriedtothegames.com. As Ed said, YouTube.com/Married to the Games. And now on Patreon at patreon.com/MTTG. Oh, man. I can't believe some people are listening to this in 2018. That's just
I know,
doesn't
right?
make any sense to my
I
brain.
know.
It's awesome.
Crazy.
Lord have mercy. Chris.
Rate us on iTunes because in 2018, not rating us is going to be designated a mental disorder.
Hey.
That's right. Somebody get on the
You wanna
phone with
avoid
the
that, you
WHO.
know?
That was good.
Get on that.
You
Good,
get a
Chris.
gaming disorder, and you get a gaming disorder, and everybody gets a gaming disorder.
I love it.
That's awesome.
Well, let's get into some questions.
Let's, shall we? Starting with Discord, Cat Jack is waiting for the cranberry sauce in a can to go shlump as it comes out in one solid mass, still shaped like a can. A holiday tradition in your family?
No.
No.
It is awesome. I love that sound as well. It's almost as good as my grenade launcher in Far Cry 4.
That's right.
But our tradition, actually, Lauren makes her own cranberry sauce, and that's usually for Thanksgiving, and it's delicious.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I didn't eat any cranberry sauce this year. That one slipped by me.
No.
I don't know why.
Dare you, sir?
I totally agree.
I don't eat cranberry sauce ever. So,
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, these are the same two knuckleheads that don't
I'll eat
drink eggnog,
cranberries.
so.
but
So kind of you make
Yeah,
it
I'll
you make
listen
it
to
into
the
cranberry
cranberries.
sauce in your mouth and then swallow it, is what you're saying.
sure,
There you go.
that's how you want to look at it.
Regurgitated cranberry sauce. That's perfect.
Nice.
Moving over to Facebook, Chad Fackler. So another year almost in the books. First off, good job on number 275. It was fun watching, not just listening to your podcast. Second,
Nice.
thank you for all the fun this year with your podcast. And because of your podcast, I now have others that I listen to as well. I
Hey.
hope you are all having
Cool.
a great holiday season. So my question is this. Looking back over 2017, what would you call the highlight of the year for you? What moment stands out as a really special or good one? Anyway, have
Oh.
a happy new year.
That's a good
Like that.
question.
I'll go first because I want to take this before Router does. But getting a new house, biggest highlight.
Hey,
Oh,
there you go.
nice.
and I will just
Nicely
ditto
done.
that as well.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Well played, sir.
I know all three of you moved this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
we did.
We had to exchange addresses all over again.
Mm-hmm.
I know, right?
Ed, do you have a highlight of this year?
Yeah, I think it was at my my private class in
Yes,
San
it
Francisco,
was.
my private VO class.
That
and I
better
had
be
just-
it.
I had a really
Mhm.
nice conversation with the instructor there, and it was very, very memorable. It was nice.
Good deal.
That's awesome. I'm gonna say E3 was the highlight for me this year. It was
Oh,
dream of
that
Nice.
was a
mine
close
for-
second for me.
the whole podcast to be able to go, and it was just
Yeah.
so special that everybody got to be there, and to get to be there with Stancil and Gil was just like, I mean, I floated on that for a long time. So
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
yes, sir.
That's
That was
awesome.
good.
And then something with my family or something. I'm just kidding.
Something with my children, family, wife, whatever. Something like that. All right, we had a ton of questions about this all over, but I'm going to give it to Twitter at Arctic Warlocks at Morning Crew. Are we going to Disney, E3, or routers for 300?
Oh my gosh.
I say all three.
Exactly. I wish we could do that. We do have dates for episode 300.
Yes.
It's crazy to even have them yet. But we have been talking about it. We know that people are wondering about it. It is going to be in Nashville on the weekend of June. How do you say the weekend? Do you say it by the Saturday or by the Sunday or by the Friday?
By the Friday.
I usually say the Friday.
Yeah. If you're talking about the weekend specifically.
So I would say the weekend of June 8th or the weekend of June 9th. 9th is the Saturday. So
8th, 9th, and 10th.
Yeah, that's the weekend, but we will be
that's the weekend.
Celebrating E3 over the weekend, the 9th and 10th, and maybe eking into the 11th, which I know is a Monday.
Yes.
But that's what's going on. And just for those people that are doing math really quickly, and they're like, wait a second, that's not 300's the following week. Yes, you are right. The actual episode 300 wouldn't actually release until Friday the 15th. However, that weekend is Father's Day weekend, and we want to stay away from that. We don't want to be trying to pull dads away from their families on the weekend of Father's Day. So we're doing, if you've been following us for at least 100 episodes, you know that we do 2 episodes when it comes to the century marks. We do A and B. Historically, A has been the audio podcast, and then B has been kind of the party to celebrate. We're switching that around this year because of Father's Day. 300A will be over the weekend, and B will be the audio episode of that coming week. So mark it on your calendars. We don't know exactly. I don't remember if we decided which day we're doing the party on, if it's the 9th or the 10th. But the thought is it is also E3 week. And so we will be skipping E3 to party it on down with you guys here in Nashville. But I will be doing it in the same room. For those that came to 200, we'll be doing it in the same room that we did 200 in. And we'll have a projection screen. And so we're also going to be having showings as a family of the press conferences. And so
we take them in together.
We wanted to be able to be together. And that's why I talk about eking into the 11th. Obviously, I know everybody can't take off work and things like that to be there. But I think that all 4 of us will be able to make it happen to where we'll be there on Monday for the Monday press conferences like Sony and things like that. And we'll also be around on Sunday for, Microsoft, Ubisoft, whoever is doing it. So as those schedules release, it'll help us dial in exactly what's going on. And then we have a little extra adventure to go on together, kind of like we did the escape room last year. So that's what it is. So mark down the 9th and 10th for sure. And then if you could pull off the 11th, we'll still be there to be watching the press conferences together. So it'll be super fun.
And we'll definitely make a decision soon whether it will be Saturday or Sunday too, because I don't want people to get their plane tickets and have to come back Sunday.
That's right.
And have an issue with that. But
we'll dial that in
squared away
more
shortly.
and more as the schedules come out for the press conferences. And if it doesn't work, we might skip a press conference, just to make it the most.
Yeah, maybe we do.
Palatable.
Microsoft, you shouldn't have done it so early. What's your deal?
Exactly.
There you go.
So, wow. 6 months out.
There it is. Yeah,
Woo.
man. Look at that.
Woo.
Yeah.
Feels crazy.
Well done.
Thanks for asking and pushing us to figure it out.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. At Young Gaz, let's flip New Year's resolutions on its head. What change do you think your significant other would like to see from you in 2018?
Oh, Lord.
P.S. Wishing all the MTTG family a happy new year. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for this question.
That's a really good question. Nobody wants to go first. We're like, I don't know.
Let's see. Changes from me. Probably that I see projects through to the end. I'm really good at starting a project. Just like on the YouTube channel, if you've seen any videos that I put up, I'm really good at starting a game. that is me in real life. I'm really good at starting. I'm a sprinter. And so I've always been a sprinter like my whole life. I'm always good at like starting something out really heavy and being like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. And then I'm like, hey, how's that thing going? I'm like, I mean, I'm not doing that anymore. So
Right.
that would
I
probably
did it for a bit,
Exactly. That would probably be mine if I had to guess.
I'm close to there with you too because I like to sprint as well, and I think Lauren would just be like, "Hey, just relax for a second, think everything through, and just pay attention to all the small details." Because sometimes
There you
I
go.
just completely overlook it. Not necessarily in just some project, but like, man, with school and everything in kindergarten, there's a lot going on for Piper, and you really have to be on your game to make sure that you've remembered everything. And there's all these different events and little things that happen, and sometimes it gets overlooked. And Lauren's really good at keeping all that together, and I need to be on top of that as well.
I got you. Ed?
There's a new workout program coming out in January that's like for people to do together, like either with a friend or a partner or whatever like that. And I think Sarah would like me to do that with her.
There you go.
Oh, I like that.
That'd be fun.
And you'll do it.
Yeah, I'll do it.
And then pass out. It'll be great.
Exactly.
Can we get
What'd
video
I
of
do?
that, please?
I know, right?
Chris, what about you?
Mine, I think, would be kind of similar to Router's, just to get a little bit better at remembering the smaller things. And maybe I tend to get distracted easily by stuff, and especially because I'm kind of like you, where I'll start something really well, but the thing is, I like to start a couple things typically because I'm like, yeah, man, I got this, and I'm just juggling and whatever. And then when you
Yeah,
do that,
right.
I focus on the main things I need to do, and then all the little things kind of fall through the crack. And she'll be like, "Oh, did you remember to do this?" And I'm like, "No." Like whenever she goes out of town, I have her write down the things she wants me to take care of, because if she doesn't, I'm
That's
gonna
what I
forget.
do.
Yeah,
That's why I told Jenny, I said I'm
Yeah.
a list guy. If you write down a list, I can
Yeah.
usually click things off a list, but I'm not great at
Amen.
being like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
give me a
I
list. I'll
think-
take a list any day.
I think just overall, she would probably be like, "Hey, can you?" Whether it's because maybe slowing down a little bit or whatever the means of getting to it doesn't matter. It's just remember the small things a little bit better. And honestly, that's kind of my own for me as well. Is I'd like to focus in on remembering those things and paying more attention to I'm not really paying it. I don't want to say paying attention because that makes it seem like I just brush it off, and that's not the case. It's just that it's very much in one
Right.
ear and then out the other. I want to be able to put the
Yeah.
hand over the other ear and make sure it stays in there and bounces around a bit.
Yeah, you'll forget.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a voicemail question.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
Yes. Check this out.
Oh, yes, y'all. Yes, y'all. You know who it is. It's the MTTG historian,
Oh,
Bad Gamer Elite.
Oh.
And I have a question for you. It's the Ask MTTG question of the week for me. Why the heck is nobody using this phone thing anymore? I want to hear people's voices. It helps me, get to know you a little bit more. You can tell a lot about people's voices. Here's my question. Thank you, guys. You guys are freaking awesome. I love you. Peace.
I love him.
Aw.
Lim coming in, the MTTG
I
historian.
love
I
Way to
kind
go,
of I
Lamb.
agree with him. I want to hear some more voices.
Yeah, I love
know,
hearing
right?
voices. You get to hear our voice. We want to hear yours.
You know what's so funny is that, he's going back through, obviously, all the old episodes. That's why we call him the historian.
Oh, he's
And it's
going back.
funny
that's for
because
sure.
he's probably at the point where we first introduced the phone number,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
always forget
Yeah.
to push
Oh,
at the
right.
end of the podcast. So the question why nobody uses the phone number is probably because they don't know it exists. Honestly, we do have Married to the Game's phone number. It is 702-703-MTTG or 6884 for those that are T9 challenged. And you can call and leave a voicemail if you want to ask a question of the week or have a thought. They won't always make it onto the show because for some reason with voicemails, people like to go for a long time. But if you want to do a question of the week there and things like that, you can totally hit us up at 702-703-6884.
Or just tell us
So
what you have
maybe-
for lunch. Whatever.
Yeah, man. I want to know.
Say hi.
Exactly.
Man, I had this awesome pastrami sandwich.
And somebody might answer. You just never know.
Yeah.
You never know. So there's the answer to that, Lim. Thanks for calling.
Thank you,
in.
sir.
That's
I
awesome.
know,
man.
right? Thank you, Lem.
Historian.
Always good to hear his voice.
Final question, Jared Orr, and this is good because it's wintertime and it's getting colder. What was the coldest you have ever been? Hashtag Burr.
Oh,
Wow.
Billings, Montana. Billings, Montana.
Yeah,
We were
that
on
sounds
tour.
about
We
right.
had a day off in Billings, and it was -2 degrees. And that's probably the coldest I've ever been.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Tim, do you have a coldest? You're from the Northeast.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely up in the Northeast. If you're in the city and it's cold and you get that city wind in between the streets and it
Like
just-
Chicago
it
on a
hits you
cold day
hard.
is the worst.
Oh,
Oh,
yes,
geez.
absolutely.
Lord have mercy. It
wind
rips through those
chill,
buildings. God.
man,
Yeah, it
wind chill
does.
is what kills me every time.
Yeah.
But there's nothing better than you're out there and it's freezing cold, and then you come in and you just get all nice. You get warm and get a coffee or something, and you get. Oh, it's so great. I like wintertime. I like the cold. I think it's nice to just bundle up. But yeah, man, when you get that wind whipping, it just sucks.
Mm-hmm. Ed?
When I was working at the radio station in Pennsylvania, we covered a snow tubing contest or whatever, and it was at night for a few hours, and you can bundle up as warm as, and you think you're prepared, but by hour 3 and 4,
Yeah, you're sitting
it
out
got
there
cold.
No,
You're
that's right.
sitting out there freezing.
My gosh. Chris?
Honestly, I mean, like I've been to Colorado and skied before, which I haven't done in a really long time, like where there's blizzards and everything, but I don't feel like I've been the coldest there. The coldest I've been has been at home, but even then, it's nothing like crazy. Like I don't think I've ever been in any temperature that was below maybe 20.
Oh, what?
I don't think I ever have.
Okay.
Maybe. It's possible that I have, and I just didn't know. Like again, one of those times
Come
when
to
I was
Billings,
in,
Montana.
I was in Colorado,
Yeah.
it may have gotten lower than that. But the thing is, when you're skiing, you get hot anyways. So I
Yeah,
don't really
right,
notice
right.
the temperature, and I'm not paying attention to it. So
Mm-hmm.
here in Texas,
true.
there's been some cold times because again, you're not expecting it, so usually you're not really bundled up. That's why it feels so much colder. But I don't think I may have been in like 18 before, but I don't think I've been below that.
Funny
Nice.
thing, when we were in
Wow.
Billings, we had one of those guys, kind of like Stancil. Stancil is freaking Stancil only wears flip flops,
Yes.
and so
Yeah.
there was a guy that was with us on tour, and he was like, "Oh man, it ain't that cold," and so he had like no shoes on, just walking around, just
Oh,
trying to be
wow.
an idiot, and totally got frostbite on his foot.
Trying to be an idiot.
I was going to say,
And
I'm sure he did.
He was trying to be an idiot, and guess what? He was.
He was.
Exactly.
Ding, 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 ding.
He got what he had
Tell him
coming.
what he's wanting, Johnny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good question.
Thank you for all the questions, everybody. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
That's right. And
Stay
with the
safe.
new year coming towards the end, this is the last podcast of this year. So we got to ask, what was your game of the year for 2017? And as a reminder to me, Chris was like, I think we usually do a slight countdown for each of us. And so we are going to name our top 3 games, ending with our game of the year. And this is a tough one for me. Chris, I'm going to let you go first.
Yeah, me. Okay. My number 3 is Uncharted Lost Legacy.
Oh, yep.
Yeah,
Mine almost.
I wasn't sure. I knew I was gonna like it, but I wasn't sure that if I'd really like it or not. I really enjoyed Lost Legacy, like
Mhm.
almost
Me too.
equal
Yes.
to like Uncharted 4. I mean, I really enjoyed
Yep.
it. Had a lot of fun with it.
Totally.
My number 2 is Destiny 2 because despite its problems, if you look at just Destiny 2, the base game, I had a lot of fun. I think the campaign was much improved than in Destiny 1's original campaign. It was a lot of fun. I had tons of fun with friends. Doing the raid was really great. I just had a blast with Destiny 2, at least in the early days. Like nowadays, it's a little rocky, and it's like, don't really know what's to come. But I'm just looking at just Destiny 2, base vanilla Destiny 2, and that's going to be my number 2. And then number 1 is going to go to the game that didn't get any love at the Game Awards, and that is Horizon Zero Dawn.
Well
Wow.
played, sir. Yep.
Nice.
Well played.
Yep.
I like it. I like it. Ed.
Number 3 for me, it always makes my top 10 whenever they come out with a new one. It's going to be the Jackbox Party Pack 4.
Yeah,
Nice.
brother.
Just Jackbox, you know why it's up there for me. Number 2, Assassin's Creed Origins.
Ooh.
Just for reasons I've mentioned over the last few weeks. Just such a fun game.
Mhm.
And then number 1 for me, Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus.
What?
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Yes.
Nice
Very
twist. I like
interesting.
that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Very good. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
Tim.
I've got a 3-way tie for third place.
Come on.
Why don't
I
why
would've
don't
had
you
a
just do a
3-way
top
tie
six?
for third,
just
too.
do a top 6.
Well, no,
if you're
because-
going to do that.
Yeah, I'll just do the top 6. It's fine. No, because like
Come on.
I think if I were to play Assassin's Creed,
I've never heard of a 3-way tie for third.
well, there's a 3-way tie for third.
Oh, man.
Oh Lord.
I did not get into Assassin's Creed until late, so I can't give it my game of the year. I probably would have if I played earlier, because I think I did for Syndicate actually, because I platinumed that. Maybe, I don't know, can't remember. That's there. Uncharted Lost Legacy, and Dishonored: Death of the Outsider for DLC. That was fantastic, and I really enjoyed that. And then number 2, it's 1 and 2 are actually it's a 2-way tie for the first place. How about that?
I'm struggling. I'm struggling for number 1 and 2 as well.
So I'm gonna say number 2 is gonna be Horizon Zero Dawn, even though it could flip. Number 1 for me is Shadow of War.
Ooh, nice.
Wow.
Shadow of
There
War,
you
I
go.
spent
saw that.
a month and a half, 2 months on, and like even when I was trying to get all those trophies, I had so much fun with that game, and I never got overly frustrated with it. I never got I had a smile on my face most of the time. I got up earlier to play it because I was so excited to keep going, and it's a great game. And I got platinums for Shadow and platinums for Horizon, and so I'm excited about that.
There you
Nice.
go. Shoot, man, doggone it.
Choose wisely.
I am so struggling with this right now.
Well, give us your 3 that are tied for third.
Exactly. Give us your 3-way tie.
I'm gonna
Jeez.
say, doggone it, man. I'm gonna say number 3 for me is is Shadow.
Chris.
Yeah, that's funny. I'm gonna say number 3 is Shadow of War.
Okay.
Wow. All right.
Nice. All right.
Even though I didn't beat it, but I'm just like, as I've spent
Yeah.
hours in that game, and I just love it so much.
Yeah.
You don't have to beat a game for it to be considered, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
exactly.
Oh, yeah, definitely not.
My number 2 is Destiny 2. Because, like Chris said, I mean, when you first play it, and the hype train was so real for me on that game, and I feel like, yes, it has its flaws, but to me, it lived up to the hype for me. I really enjoyed
Good.
playing
Good.
from 0 to when you're maxed out leveled, which I actually think I'm not maxed out level anymore because they upped it. But and then my number 1 game of the year, yeah, it's got to be The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Ooh,
Really? I did
Really?
not see that
You.
coming out of your mouth.
Did
Me
not see
either.
that coming
It's
at all.
got to be. I spent probably 80 something hours in that game.
Really?
And played it all the way through, did all the side stuff. And I realized that, like, as
Really?
I've talked about
Wow.
before, when it comes to Nintendo, just like with Star Wars, I hold it to such a high standard that it's easy for me to
Right.
rip it apart. And so, but at the end of the day, I noticed that I ran around and did so much extra stuff that I didn't have to do just to be in the world some more. And then by the time I
Really?
beat it,
Wow.
I was satisfied. So, Zelda Breath of the Wild, man, that's my game of the year.
Man, and you know what's funny?
Wow.
For you, this first quarter of 2018, I'm really curious because you're going to be on the road. You're going to be bunking it, which means you're going to be switching it a lot. And
That's
so I'm
right.
curious what Nintendo
Yeah, I'm
Switch
taking my
games
Switch
are
and
really
my
going
PlayStation on this next
Oh,
tour.
cool. Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Yeah,
Oh,
so I'm
good.
curious if you're going to find more little Nintendo gems
Yeah.
for the Switch that you just constantly play while out on the road.
Yeah.
So that'd be good.
And so I think that Horizon would have made it on the list if I would have played more of it, because I do own it. But Shadow of War was just so fun for me, and it was kind of like what you guys talk about, like, or I think Ed has talked about when it came to Assassin's Creed. Like, you're just finding extra stuff to do before even moving the story along.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I almost punked out and said Mario Kart 8 because it did re-release for the Switch this year, but I think those other three
No,
beat it.
that's good.
Beat it out for me.
I thought for sure 2K basketball was going to be up there for you.
You know, it's funny. I don't enjoy that game as much as I play it, but I play it because it's so easy to pick up and play.
It's easy. It's a pickup game.
really?
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yes, just to,
Yeah.
like the
That's
loading
funny.
and everything in it ruins the game for me. Like how long it takes to get to everything you're trying to do. So even though it is a quick pick up and play, you can't do anything quick in it, if that makes sense as a game.
Right. Right.
So also as an end of year bonus, we are going to be giving away, as Married to the Games, each of our number one picks for Game of the Year, because we love spreading the love. You guys have
Yay.
been such a supporter of the podcast, so we want to find a way to give back. And so we will be giving away everybody's number one pick of the year. So keep your eyes tuned to all the socials, and we'll be doing that, and that'll be so much fun. So, and we want to know you guys' Game of the Year for 2017. You could do a top 3, you could do a top 5, you could do a tie for 10th, and then work your way down. But we want to know what you guys is. Use hashtag answer MTTG, and we'll talk about it next week and be giving away some games. So we're excited to do that.
Nice.
Thank you guys so much for being with us in 2018. For those that are new, 2017, for those that are new to the podcast and found us this year, thanks for sticking around. We're
Thanks
hoping
for
that
rating.
2018. Yes, thanks for rating us on iTunes.
Yes.
It's funny, we make a joke about it, but it actually is really important. So
Yeah.
It really is.
Definitely.
rate us on iTunes because it's important.
And follow us on Spotify.
Yeah, follow us on Spotify. That's right. Goodness gracious, I forget that we're over there now. So thank you guys so much for all the love in 2017. We're hoping 2018 brings a lot more laughter, a lot more fun. We have a century mark coming up this year, which is so fun. We
Yeah, buddy.
only get to do those every 2 years, so we're so excited. Looking forward to June and getting back with you guys live and in living color. So we appreciate you guys, man. Thank you so much. Let us know your Game of the Year. I'm Gabe Patillo. That is Tim Router. That is Ed Placencia. That is Chris McCracken. And for the last time in 2017, we are married to the games, and we are up out this thing. Peace!